What we do here is go back.
Okay, and I think we're live. I hope we are. That appears to be working. Yes, I can see me. There I am. I can just see Flame's ear as well. I can't see the whole stream. Why can't I see that? Anyway, good evening. Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025. It is currently 22 degrees here and 74% humidity. Temperatures are slightly better today than what they were last couple of days here in the UK.
Touchdown says it's slightly lower again. Welly Bob says all good and in audio.
I was about to say, can you see and or hear me? Audio levels good, says Welly Bob. Sound low again. Remad, try going into YouTube settings, just Jan. If you go into the YouTube video settings, like the cog, turn either on or off. There's a noise levelizer or equalizer. Try switching between the two.
Stable volume, is that the one?
Stable volume, I think it is, yeah. Yeah, click on the, try the two. You should find it gets louder, possibly. Yeah, hopefully we're all good. Welly Bob says stable volume on YouTube doesn't work.
Mine's greyed out actually. It's
Coming through loud and clear, says Mark Gain. Oh, stable volume grayed out. Yeah, maybe it isn't on lives then. Do we need to crank it up a bit? Let me see if I can turn it up very slightly. I hate audio.
You don't alter it from last week though, have you?
I don't think I did. Audio's fine, Mike. Okay.
You don't use them, do you? Other than this.
We'll leave it as it is. So on tonight's stream, many things to talk about. Whether it's the new Stream Deck Cube game box thing. We've also got some things from FSP, which potentially for some people might be a bit of a weird thing, a bit of a blast from the past. If you've been in the PC game for long enough, you'll probably remember FSP power supplies. They've always been pretty decent, and a lot of OEMs use them. And in fact, if you've got a laptop, there's a very strong chance, if you look at the laptop charger, it might be branded, but chances are it will also have an FSP logo on it, because they also do a lot of laptop power supplies. We've also got a motherboard to look at for you MSI fanboys out there like myself. This is the new B850 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. Not the Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi or the Tomahawk Wi-Fi Max or anything like that. This is the new Tomahawk Wi-Fi, which is cheaper. Yay! Who'd have thought? Cheaper things in 2025. Awesome stuff. And also we've got a new case to look at, also from FSP. which is their new M580. There's lots of 580s and 850s around at the moment. It gets very confusing, especially if you've been video editing all day and saying repeated numbers over and over. It gets confusing. So I do apologise if I get anything wrong tonight. My brain is completely frazzled, especially when doing motherboard reviews. Those are always the hardest because you've got all the PCI Express lanes, you've got all the M.2 things, you've got the overclocking features, you've got the RAM speeds. It's a bit of a nightmare.
I've got 6 cat names.
6 cats to move as well.
And name.
So yeah, it's all a bit strange. Yeah, happy 21st, happy 71st birthday to David Underhill. Many happy returns of the day. May there be many more. Great stuff. Also, obviously, there'll be things to talk about which are topical as well, such as AI integration into basically everything, which sucks. AI in general sucking because of the fact that OpenAI and good old Sam Altman have basically destroyed PC gaming and the PC industry for potentially the next maybe year or so, which I'm smiling, but I don't know why. Yeah, until the next thing comes up. If we haven't had enough, we've had what seems like 7 years of just the PC market being absolutely pummeled by various things. Obviously, we had the mining craze, which killed GPUs and made everything super expensive, and then you couldn't buy a graphics card for love nor money. Then we had the thing where everyone got colds, where everything got really expensive because everybody started working from home, and we had that whole explosion to add on to the fact that people were still mining and buying graphics cards. That sucked. What do we have after that? We've had various things go wrong.
Eat out to help out.
We did have Eat Out to help out. Yeah, that didn't help PCs at all. Obviously, we had things like M.2's increase in price, and now, just to cap it all off, there's basically the RAM apocalypse, which is... I still don't know how this has happened. I kind of do, but I don't as well. It seems like it's the perfect storm, and it's hit at basically the worst possible time. So things were just starting to stabilize with DDR4 getting very cheap, DDR5 coming down to kind of sensible pricing, and yeah, everyone was reasonably happy. GPUs were starting to come down to MSRP prices. It was a reasonably good time to be had by all for a very brief time between probably July and probably mid-October, early October. And then, yes, it's just, the RAM thing is insane. So for those of you who are not entirely sure what's going on, and I've got to be honest with you, I don't think anyone does for sure. Effectively, OpenAI have gone to the RAM manufacturers, or the wafer manufacturers, and basically done NDA deals with all of them.
So RAM is now the new bog roll.
RAM is the new TP. It certainly is. So, yeah, they basically went and did basically NDA deals with RAM wafer manufacturers to secure a very, very large percentage of all made RAM wafers for basically the foreseeable future. So with that, and the NDAs and other companies not knowing who was doing what, it seems that OpenAI apparently, allegedly, have basically bought up kind of all of the RAM and all of the wafers to make said RAM, so they can achieve their global dominance in the AI field, which kind of is a little bit counterintuitive, because if we cannot buy or make computing devices, phones, computers, tablets, laptops, if there's no RAM to make them, who's going to be using AI? You'll have to have a virtual gaming session with an AI bot, which kind of just tells you what game you're playing, but you can't actually play it yourself. So gaming becomes basically a third-person view, watching someone else playing games. Still, it should still be good for YouTube. If you're a streamer or have a YouTube channel where you create content based on playing games, good luck to you,
Not
because
good
you're
if they
gonna,
ain't got a computer,
yeah,
is it?
if you've already got a setup and it works, great. You're going to be having a whale of a time because no one else can play games because they can't buy a computer. If your computer needs replacements or you need to upgrade, then best of luck with that. It is not a good thing. So we've got the festive season, such as Black Friday.
Oh yeah, let's show our deals we got in Black Friday.
Where are they?
Well, in front of you. None.
Oh yeah, here are my Black Friday deals, ladies and gentlemen.
Literally, the whole stream's about
Ta-da!
Black Friday.
Yes, nothing. Because what's the point of buying any computer components if you can't put RAM into a computer? They could have the best deals on the planet, and there's no point in buying it. It's like buying a car, buying all the parts to build a car, and then not being able to buy wheels or petrol. It's bizarre. So yes, it's bad timing. So we've got the, yeah, as was just said there, you've got the Windows 10 end of life. So people were wanting to buy computers or upgrade so they could run Windows 11. RAM sales have been increasing anyway, as they naturally do this time of year. It's just bad. It is really bad. And I don't think at the moment people are really grasping how bad and how long this potentially could last for. It does seem like we may not get back to normal RAM production levels until 2027. Now I know 2026 is only like a month and a half away-ish, but another year and a bit, bare minimum, of basically having either no stock or ridiculously overpriced stock. It is an absolute shitfest. I cannot put it any nicer than that. It is horrendous. Even places like eBay, very, very hard to buy RAM, especially DDR5 at somewhat sensible prices. I had a quick look before the stream started at Facebook Marketplace, and it seems the scalpers are at it already. DDR5 RAM prices almost as expensive as retail, if not more expensive. Looking on places, now this is one which may be unpopular with some people, but I looked at Scan computers today. Now Scan are in an awkward position because Scan apparently only sell Corsair RAM, and their prices have gone through the absolute roof. So if you're thinking of buying a computer from Scan UK, you potentially may have to weather the storm and pay a lot more money for your system. There were kits of RAM, like larger kits, granted, like 64 gigabytes, and the RAM like £400 for 2 sticks of RAM. You can buy a mid-range graphics card for that price. At least at the moment you can. Hello, Dave.
Come and see Grumpy.
Come on, come sit down here if you want to sit anywhere. You're being a butthead.
Talk to the camera. Turn around, talk to the camera.
I do excuse the interruption. Dave.
Oh, well, he's not going to talk, are you, Dave?
He's at it. So yeah, that is kind of where we are. Let's get rid of some of these boxes off there, because I think I'm going to go and have a little bit of a meltdown in a minute. I'm going to start waving my arms around. I'm going to knock all the stuff off the table. Oh, there goes the mouse already. So yes, it is ridiculous. I'm still looking at the chat there to see what's going on. Zero Defect says I got 64 gigs to swap for a 5090. Good stuff. I've actually placed an order with, some of you remember actually a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, as the RAM apocalypse was starting to become a thing, overclockers here in the UK had two sets of, a set of RAM, which was DDR5, I think it was the HyperX RGB, and it was 36, CL36, 6000 megatransfer RAM, Expo, XMP, and it was $79.99 for a pair. And it's like, well, it's a little bit more than I want to pay, but it's great, and it was on pre-order. So I pre-ordered 4 sets. They then emailed back after me trying to get hold of them numerous times to say, like, what's the deal? Where's the RAM? When's the pre-order due in? They then said that they've cancelled that because PNY, it was PNY, sorry. Yeah, PNY RAM, Accelerate, or XLR8, whatever it was. they said that they're unable to do the deal. So they said, would you like to have the Crucial OC kits, which I've got one set there. We can do those, just the standard black ones, CL36, for $89.99 for a pair, which isn't brilliant pricing, but it seemed okay at the time. So it's like, okay, change the order. There was 2 orders in. Both orders had 2 sets. So I paid an extra £20 for the first order. That was shipped. I then said, where's the other 2 sets? Because I paid for them. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send you the link to pay the extra. So I paid the extra £20 on that as well. That was a week ago, and I've been trying to contact them ever since, and I've had no response as of yet. So if you're watching this by any strange chance and you are at Overclockers UK, then please get in touch and let me know what is going on, where are my RAM, because I'm getting a little bit worried now, because I've got basically 200 quid tied up in RAM, which doesn't appear to be on my desk.
Was it a Wonga?
It's a Wonga loan. On the flip side, managed to get all of my AM5 processors now from AliExpress. They've all arrived now. So I think I've got 3 7800s X3Ds.
Without RAM?
No use without RAM. I've got a 7500F also, which I put in the system, which we built last week. So that's been transferred over. And there was another one as well. What else did I get? There's something else. Can't remember. Anyway, I've got some processors. I've got some boards. I've got some cases. I've got some power supplies.
But we got no.
I've got coolers, but we got no RAM. Well, I've got one set there. I think there is a set there as well.
Think tell.
I've got 2 sets there. I'm rich. That's gonna be it now. I am. You can tell, like, if someone's got a 64 gig kit now, they're somewhat of a baller. Anyway, so yeah, RAM has already doubled in price, at least for most people. M.2 drives seem to be heading in that general way as well. So M.2, so it's basically storage in general, is getting more expensive. And of course, anything which has onboard RAM, HBM, GDDR, etc., 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 it's all going to get more expensive. And it is getting to the point now where Apple's RAM upgrade pricing is actually starting to make sense. It's almost like they preempted it all those years ago. But yeah. It's weird to say that it's probably cheaper to upgrade your RAM in a Mac now than it is in a PC. Or at least very close. Maybe that's what they've been aiming at all along, some form of parity. Ah, dear. Hey, Mickey Woods, how you doing? Viali says, Mike, I ordered the Fantex adjustable vertical mount from OC UK a week ago, still haven't got it. Yeah, there's something weird going on at OC UK. Their phone lines went down for a little while as well, so you couldn't even get in contact with them. So, yeah, whatever, I'm not too sure. It is, it's not great. It's not great. And if you're someone who builds or flips PCs, now, I'm in a position, obviously, I'm quite lucky that companies do send us review samples, etc. So, generally what we tend to do is when we get enough samples or it's getting a little bit too much for us to store, I'll grab a load of parts, put together a little PC and sell it so I can buy more stock in to keep the kind of the sausage factory going as it tends to. That's going to be getting harder and harder to do. And I'm noticing now there's a lot of manufacturers and a lot of companies that are reaching out and saying, oh, would you like to review our power supply? Or would you like to review our case? Or would you like to review our motherboard? Not much happening on the RAM front, weirdly. The guy from Bywin has been like extreme radio silence, not heard anything at all. Even the Chinese manufacturers, such as your V Colors, your Ficwatt,
Who's that nice colour?
Oracle, V Color it was. Not a thing, not a peep. So it's gone very, very quiet. And even where you could sometimes get some deals on AliExpress for RAM, those are basically non-existent. And it's actually cheaper to buy RAM in the UK than it is to buy on AliExpress at the moment, which is like bananas.
What happened to eBuyer?
eBuyer were, I don't know if they went bankrupt or whatever, but they basically, they were bought out by, I think it's the same company that does Sports Direct.
Fraser Group.
Fraser Group, I believe it is, yeah. So, and I guess that's part of the, is that part of the Fraser catalogue that used to be around years ago? I don't know. But apparently eBuyer is going under some sort of change. Initially, when the takeover first happened, they were just selling things like home appliances and weird stuff like that. Whereas now it seems, I did get an email about a week or so ago saying that eBuyer will be changing and it's going to be going back to its kind of PC roots. But I don't know. I haven't paid much attention, if I'm honest with you. Dutch Jan says, just start building old PCs. I think it's going to get to that point where, the thing is, DDR4
That way retro
is still quite...
back.
Yeah, it might be, yeah. Yeah, retro gaming is going to take a little bit of a thing. Emulation, probably not so much, because, well, I don't know, some DDR3 based systems might be still okay for emulation for modern equipment. But anyway, yeah, it's...
But they don't know tech.
It's a very strange position to be in. And again, without kind of boring or without trying to go over a point too much, it just seems that it's happened at the worst possible time, where it's the holiday season, you've got Thanksgiving, I think it's just about escaped Thanksgiving in Canada. It was just kind of ticking over then. Obviously, Thanksgiving in the US is on the 27th, I think. Am I right in saying that? The 27th? So people trying to buy PCs for Thanksgiving or the Black Friday deals, etc. is not going to happen. And of course, then for us in the UK and around the world who celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December, unless something like miraculous happens, like baby Jesus actually comes down from the heavens with a whole truckload of DDR5, it's not looking great. And it's such a shame because we were just about to start seeing prices dipping a little bit, normalizing, and graphics cards becoming somewhat affordable for the mid-range especially. But now it appears that possibly the RTX 50 series Supers look like they are definitely going to be postponed until possibly Q3 of 26, whereas we would have been expecting them around about now, or at least at the time of CES or just after CES, which is generally the kind of first couple of weeks of January. So yeah, it's a very, very strange position to be in. It's a bit of a downer, I'll be honest with you, but cheer us up. We have Danmar 007 with his 50 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. Stay positive, my friend. Baby Jesus owes me a GPU.
Go on, do a bit of a 007 theme tune.
I can't. We might get demonetized for it.
You're not that in tune. To be fair.
User JR5XF. Good name. You need to look into the ULA brand. They just brought out an ULA. I have been offered stuff from the ULA brand, but they don't do English keyboards. And I don't like using non-UK layout keyboards because it just frustrates the hell out of me. Especially when I'm typing all day and using pound signs and commas and hashtags and stuff. It's just, I can't. I'm too old. I can't get my mind around that sort of thing. But thank you, Danmar, for your very, very kind donation. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Gary says that laptop prices in the US aren't bad. Actually, yeah, there's been a few good, half-decent deals on Black Friday for laptops, I'll be honest. Tablets, I've not really paid much attention to. But laptops, yes, definitely there are some deals to be had. It's going to be one of those things that as stocks dwindle, prices are going to change. There may be some slightly unscrupulous vendors which will artificially increase the price of their existing stock to try and capitalize on the RAM increases. Hopefully the majority won't, so they'll possibly even create new stock keeping units or new model numbers for the affected units, so that making it easier to differentiate between the two. So like, this one's cheap RAM, this one cost us more, so we have to sell it for more. It depends on how quickly they move, unfortunately. But we will see. Remapping's easy, but keycap swapping isn't. But I understand where you're coming from.
You've got nothing better to do with your time now.
Semrab says, if you buy some AM5 CPUs and motherboards at reduced prices, ready for when RAM prices drop, You can't test them working. Yeah, that's true. And also, like, because of how quickly the PC market moves, if you're thinking, right, now's the time to buy up a load of like a B650 motherboards or maybe some B850s, because if they're not selling because people can't buy RAM, maybe buy them up when the prices dip. And then when RAM gets better, you can use them. But the trouble is, with things moving so quickly, by the time the RAM gets to a reasonable price to make the systems viable, we'll probably be on another generation of motherboards by then. Like I'm not sure what the next AMD AM5 motherboards will be. In theory, we went from 600 series to 800 series, so it's unlikely there's going to be a 900 series, and I can't see them doing like a 10,000 series. So I'm not sure what the next AMD motherboards are going to be. That's going to be a bit of a challenging one.
Maybe just go back to typewriters.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, so it's a very, very strange predicament to find ourselves in. And it's going to be, I think it's going to affect all of us, especially if you're interested in technology, you're into computing, you like seeing new products and all that kind of stuff, or you use computers in general. It's going to be sad because...
If you want to bring down all the society, then that would be a good way to do it.
If you like watching YouTube videos based around technology, I think YouTube's going to take a hit as well. Because obviously if we can't buy stuff or RAM, or it just makes no sense to buy it, then especially when it's like as inflated as it is, I think it's going to make things a lot worse.
Think of all the shops that use computers for their stock and stuff. If they go broken...
Yeah, but shops, the thing is, if you're a company, you can write off taxes. So if RAM costs more money, it's like, well, whatever. I need it.
But that's just going to
it's a tool.
Prices up, isn't it, on the products that we have to buy?
Yeah. Well, that's always what happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone always gets screwed, and generally it's the consumer.
And somebody always makes money.
Yeah. Somebody somewhere is going to be making money. I'm not going to say it, but you never know. It could be one of those things which is kind of... Because RAM companies have always traditionally not made much money. Or the margins have been like razor thin. So it could almost be a situation where... Well, I'm not going to say it, but maybe there is some kind of collusion between them. They've all agreed, yes, this is the way we make our money back. But it just sucks. It really does suck. And it is going to have a massive, massive knock-on effect. The GPU crisis is going to be nothing like what we're about to experience. Because the GPU crisis, it was okay, because if there was an older graphics card, you could buy it secondhand or used. They're a bit more inflated, but they were available. But they were available because people were upgrading. So those that had the money were upgrading. But when it comes to their physically not being RAM, because it's just gone, people can't upgrade, so the used stuff doesn't appear on the market, so the used market dwindles or gets really expensive, and it's really hard to recover from that. So when we had the GPU crisis, yes, there were GPUs around, you could every now and then get them, but yeah, if you didn't want to use a GPU, it'd be like, oh, fine, fair enough, I'll just use some old crap thing, or I'll use the integrated graphics. A lot of us ended up using things like the 5600Gs, 5700Gs to make systems because it could play games. But we're in a position now where you can't use anything else other than RAM to run a system. It needs RAM. It is an essential part of your system. And all the RAM kits pretty much are paired, so dual channel, and they're matched at the factory. So even if you think to yourself, well, I can't afford 200 quid for 32 gigs of RAM, I'll just buy a single stick. You try getting another stick the same after that matches and actually works. That is going to be an absolute minefield. So I would strongly suggest, if that's even crossed your mind, to buy a single RAM stick, don't do it. Just don't do it. Really. Unless you're building like a business PC where dual channel doesn't make a difference and you're just accessing the internet. Actually, if it gets to that point, just buy a laptop or a tablet. Or some really old crap, like mini PC. It looks like SODIMMs are reasonably stable. So when it comes to laptop RAM, those prices are far more appealing at the moment. So it might even be a case of looking into things like the Minis Forum, like barebone kits that run some of the new AMD processors and just put some SODIMMs in. Potentially that is an option, but I know myself and probably some of you out there, you love to buy your motherboards, your ATX boards or your micro ATX boards or your ITX boards, and you like to pick and match your own components and build it your way, which is what this industry is all about. The whole sector is about that flexibility, and it sucks. It really does. I know I keep on mentioning it, but it's just, it's crap. It really is crap. I don't know. I've actually had a couple of people asking me, like messaging me, Mike, I'm looking at doing an upgrade for my system for Christmas. I've got £600 to spend. What should I do? It's like, well, I don't know. You can't do a motherboards change these days from like DDR4 to DDR5 because like it's basically pointless. The RAM is going to be so expensive. That's going to be almost a third, maybe half of your budget gone in one fell swoop just for 32 gigs of RAM. It's going to kill the entire market. It really is. It might even get to a point where we start buying pre-built PCs if the pre-built manufacturers can keep their RAM prices under control because they're buying, or they have bought a lot. I don't know. Get a Mac Mini. Yeah, I think, yeah, get a Mac Mini. I've got one there. And now the RAM upgrade on it didn't seem as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Rick says, I'm going back to DDR3. It's not a bad idea.
Is that what I got in mine?
No, you're DDR4.
Oh, not far into it, I shouldn't imagine.
No. Oh, dear. Mark Barry says, I didn't realise just how popular 1060s still are. They very much are. Yeah, 1060s are still a very useful card. And for very little money these days. Rasher says, supermarkets, petroleum, gas and electricity industry are all making record profits, and price hike with them is totally unjustified and a total rip-off wealth transfer. Unfortunately, without being too political, unfortunately, that is the way things have been for probably the last 10 years, where it's been kind of blatant or obvious that there is a massive wealth transfer going on. And yeah, we're basically screwed. We are screwed in lots of ways.
And we have been for years now.
Energy prices, gas prices, shopping. Like, when was the last time you went to the shops? If you, like, quite often you could go to the shops with like £10 in your pocket. You'd go in, buy yourself a sandwich, some crisps, a drink, a bar of chocolate, and still get the best part of £5 change. Whereas now, if you try and do that same thing, you've got to take a 20.
Now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We can't afford marathons or Snickers now, so we have to buy these tiny little fun-size Morrison Sprinters. Super nutty. Yes, you'd be super nutty not to buy them because they're such good value. And if that isn't bad enough, we have to use the other... What's the other ones? Astros. Calf's eating them all.
I've eaten them, but they're Apollos.
That's the Apollo, which is the Morrison's version of the Mars bar. We also buy those because they're cheap as well. Oh dear. I've not tried the little ones, but...
No, they're Morrison's.
They're Morrison's, but yeah, the little ones I guess are very similar. Actually, to be fair...
We used to always have Tesco ones.
The Morrison's versions, I would say, are as good, if not better, than the originals.
Because the chocolate's gone a bit nasty on
Yeah.
those chocolate things.
This is good. Rasher says Marathon Sprinter. The little naming is funny.
No, that's Morrison's.
It is Morrison's, but it's quite funny. So yeah, Morrison's very cheap. We like that, Morrison's. And actually, shameless plug. I'll put the link in. Amazon affiliates. If you want to do your Morrison's shopping via Amazon UK,
don't worry about the affiliate bit. We don't get.
You can click on it,
shopping.
don't we?
No.
I'm sure we
I
did.
told you that, so
It comes up in the listings.
Yeah, but you don't earn anything.
You sure?
Yeah, it's like
100%.
It's like when we buy on our links, we don't earn anything.
Some bitch. Okay. No worries.
We won't be having to do that again.
Just use the bloody links. We got RAM to pay for. Help us out. Oh dear.
But when you do your Amazons, when you do your food shop, also buy something on Amazon.
Yeah, buy something on Amazon when you do your food shop. Sky says, so the answer to go 16 gigs. And most people don't understand that more than 2.6 RAM and AM5 box isn't ideal. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, with the RAM being as overly artificially priced as it is. Now, if we went to where a position, now don't get me wrong, like if we went from DDR5 being, I don't know, let's say for argument's sake, £70 for 16 gig, a 32 gig kit, which wasn't unheard of. If we went like from 70, then we went to like 80 and 90 and 100 and then 110, 120, and we went up in those steps over a number of months. Like, you'd be like, okay, this is just the natural progression. This is the way things are going, so you just have to kind of swallow the costs a little bit. But when it literally goes from 1 week to the next of being £89 for a 32 gig kit, going up to £170 for that same kit in a week, I can't justify spending that money on RAM, because that is basically daylight robbery, and it's unnecessary and it's unjustified in other words that I just can't think of at the moment. But it is just like, yeah, if things double that quickly and are potentially going to double again apparently before the end of the year, I'm not going to buy it. And I would hope that the more savvy shoppers out there, because that's basically what this channel's always been about, trying to maximize what you get for your money without going over the top. That is what we've always tried to do. That's what I've always tried to do personally, and that's what I encourage for people buying anything. Like, yeah, if you want to buy the latest and greatest stuff, the kind of like your Corsairs, your Lan Lees, etc., etc., you want to spend a ton of money, if you enjoy it, do it. But if it's a commodity item and it's just artificially increased in price by an absolutely extraordinary amount, just don't buy it. That is the simple answer. Just don't buy it. And I know it's going to be harmful for the channel because that is what we try to do. And obviously from things like eBay links, Amazon affiliate links, overclockers links, scan links, etc., etc., it's all those little extras that add on to make our income, which obviously that's going to take a hit. Although, having said that, if you do buy RAM at double the price, we get double the commission. So every cloud.
ChatGPT will do your job soon anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, so it's not great. It isn't great. So more than ever, I would strongly suggest, if you find any deals, please do post them in our Discord, or just let me know via email, or get in contact in the YouTube comments. Say, Mike, I've just seen this at such and such from whatever it is, and we will try and let the rest of the community know, which is what we tried to do, is to show you where bargains potentially can be had. Which is actually quite a good segue to the items that we've got in tonight's reviews and unboxings, because all of the items have been significantly reduced or are at good prices.
And Rick H says, Mike, more chainsaw videos.
More chainsaw videos, damn straight.
That's what you could do on the motherboards you get.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Matthew Day says, do they still make DDR4 boards for Intel? I don't know if they still make them. They are still available, but whether or not they make them, whether they're still in active production, I honestly couldn't tell you. Aletta says, I used to like Trump, but now I think either the powers that be have gotten to him or the bastard has lost his mind. I think there's probably a little bit of both. I'm in a similar position. I was quite keen on the kind of his ethos, but as always, he's a politician.
He's playing 4D chess.
He's playing 5D chess with your brain. Thank you very much, Captain White, for the £5. Mike's DDR5 RAM Fun Starter Kit. Oh, bless your heart. That's very kind of you. It might come to that. Oh dear. He is nearly 80. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Here we go. Susan Roberts says, the communist globalists got to Trump. I think it's, yeah. It must be a really difficult position to be in when you've got potentially all these ideas that you want to implement, but then you've got so many people working with you, for you, against you, that are all kind of leading you down a certain path. I'm not defending him, but it must be hard. It must be hard when you've got so many people trying to influence their agendas upon you, and then obviously then that agenda on to the rest of the population. So it's yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Pretty much all politicians start out with good intentions, I think, but ultimately if you want to be a politician or MP or anything like that, member of Congress, Senate, whatever, you've got to be basically a sociopath or a psychopath or one of those words.
What is an actor on there?
Or an actor, yeah.
They all have acted, didn't they?
Lee says, let's turn into a Trump hating channel. I don't know. It's like any politician, he will do some things which you agree with, and he'll do some things that you don't. And ultimately, like all parties, all candidates, all politicians in some form or other, you're never going to agree with everything they do. You'll agree with some things, and hopefully they do the things that you agree with, and it happens, and they're not lying about it. But yeah, I don't think there's ever been a prime minister or a president that I have kind of wholeheartedly thought, yes, they were great all the way through their tenancy. They all do something at some point to piss you off. It's just a matter of time and how badly they piss you off. Oh dear. Rash's going 20 euros. Thank you very much. Steve Jobs would have made a better president than Donald Trump, but that's comparing apples to oranges. Very good. That took a little while to sink in and register, but I like that one. That was good. Cool Cat, Mike, when you put links in the chat, could you place links for each country separately in separate messages? I've trouble selecting with my giant fat thumbs. Thanks in advance. I don't know if we can. We might.
You have to go to every single individual country and
I would have, because the way it works at the moment for most links, especially Amazon, is you go to Amazon US and it creates what they call a global link. So it does it that way, but yeah. We do
UK separate.
We do UK separate generally because we are in the UK. And sometimes we do US and Canada as well separately.
Well, US is just the
but we'll see.
Global link, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which should go to your local thing, but.
Yeah, actually, that's good as well. I just noticed that Rasher's super chat message is actually in orange as well. Very good. Just reading through the chat there. Yes, good stuff. Right then, let's get started. I got something in my eye and it's driving me slightly insane. But I don't want to rub my eye because rubbing your eye or rubbing your face or your ear or anything like that is normally a tell. So if someone's like lying or whatever, that is a thing apparently. But I don't want to.
You meant you were in one of their clubs.
Oh, that is genuine. There's got a little bit of eye bogey there, an eye gem. Yeah, it's really difficult because when I'm watching YouTube videos, I look for people's tells, especially when they're doing reviews, and especially if it's it's that's what they call it in like poker. So if someone's bluffing, they have a tell, a telltale sign, I guess it would be. So yeah, I try to look out for that, and I really try not to do it accidentally. And my eyes at the moment, I don't know if it's the time of year, but they feel quite itchy and a bit scratchy as well. Probably need some eye drops or something. But anyway, I want to rub my eyes, and also I've been testing out a new shaver, which is really, really good. But it sometimes leaves like really fine hairs and they get itchy. And I'm there trying to like itch behind my ear where the hairs are dropped down. And it's like, no, that's a tell. People will think I'm lying. So I'm trying to be really careful, which goes against the whole thing of having a tell. Anyway.
Yeah, satanic one-eye club.
Yeah, I'm not in the satanic one-eye club.
Wallpaper behind you.
Let's move on to something a little bit different, shall we? So, like I said earlier, FSP. Now, this actually is on offer at the moment. Black Friday deal. Links are in the video description. If you want to check it out, if you don't, that's absolutely fine. This is a 1000W power supply, gold rated, fully modular from FSP. 105C Japanese caps. I don't know much more about it, to be honest with you. Literally, it turned up today, so I'm kind of going through this with you. And actually, let's turn the proper light on, because I can't see shit. Let's put that one on. I'll turn that one off.
What does it mean when your plums itch?
What does it mean when your plums itch?
Yeah.
I don't know. It means, I don't know. I really shouldn't say it on a family-orientated channel.
Well, Rick wants to know.
I don't know. Anyway, so this is the FSP Vita GM 1000W power supply, PCI Express Gen 5.1, ATX 3.1, so it'll handle all those surges and all that kind of stuff as you'd expect. And it's also got the 80 Plus Pro gold level, but it's also got the cybernetics gold for efficiency, and it's class cybernetics A- for silence. So that is actually pretty good, because the cybernetics A range basically is like for fanless models pretty much. So I like quiet power supplies. I cannot say how much it distresses me when I got a power supply which is ticking, clicking, whining, whatever, all that kind of crap. It annoys the bejesus out of me. What's Kath doing? She's doing a thing. What's going on? Oh, we got us Dutch Jan. Thank you very much for your PayPal donation. What did you say? Just go and play video games. Now busy building a Windows 98 PC. Yes, that's the way forward. Thank you for your kind donation. Thank you. By the way, for those of you that are not sure, if you do want to send in a donation, you don't have to do it through YouTube. You can obviously use super chats and all that kind of stuff, or super stickers, memberships, etc. But you can also just make a plain and simple donation, either from our Ko-fi link in the video description, or just send it to PayPal. If you do it through PayPal or Ko-fi, or Patreon, I think as well, you can do it, and we basically get the majority of the money. If you send it via YouTube, yes, it's cool, but they do take 30% of it as like a handling fee, so we don't get everything. So if you are thinking about sending it, you can use PayPal or Ko-fi. Just wanted to say it. You don't have to, obviously. The usual things apply. Just wanted to put it out there. Anyway, so yeah, this looks like to be a nice and quiet power supply. So Japanese caps, fully modular, and it comes with a 10-year warranty. This one at the moment is on scan.co.uk for a pretty decent price for a gold-rated 1000W power supply, £120 or £119.99, which, yeah, I think is pretty fair. It's not the cheapest, and it's certainly not the most expensive, but the way things are going, I think it's actually not too bad at all. What we got on the back here, so it's got 83 amps on the 12V rail, so that's giving you 1000 watts. Yeah, pretty good. And they do there's a 850W version, which I think is $79.99, which also seems like actually pretty decent value for money. And to be fair, like, this was sent to me for review, so they send a 1000W one. If I was buying one, I'd probably go with the 850. Like, I think I've got an 850 in there. I think I've got an 850 in my other PC. You don't really need 1000 watts. Huh?
I thought you put 1000 in that one recently.
No, I think it was 850. I can't remember. Go on.
Dave Aiken?
Dave Aiken.
It's on subject to power supplies, but not.
Mike, the white Gigabyte 650 we bought is driving me nuts. Horrible clicking on the fan bearings. Mine, I have had it running, and it's not been too bad. There is definitely some audible noise to it, but I think that is just the thing with modern power supplies. They, especially, well, even some of the more expensive ones, they do have a little bit of noise to them, which is unfortunate. But maybe, let me know, Dave, do you want to send them back? If you want to, I'll take it out and we can send them back. It's up to you. Anyway, let's have a look at this power supply and see what it is all about. I'm actually quite interested in this because when it comes to power supplies, it is nice to have a decent power supply in your PC. And whenever I do the budget reviewed ones, I do always get that thing of people, oh, actually, that's quite nicely packaged. I do always get people saying, oh, don't use a cheap power supply. You should never cheap out on your power supply, blah, blah, blah. I have done many times. And as Dave will agree, obviously sometimes we buy cheap ones and they're not the quietest. I thought the Gigabyte one wasn't too bad, personally. Maybe it's, sometimes with cases as well, it's more of an acoustic thing, but I think Dave was using the same case as I was. Did you put it into the Be Quiet case, Dave? Out of interest. Because I thought it was the fans in the Be Quiet which were making noise, but anyway, I'll move on. Rick says, when my power supply fans make a noise, I replace them with notchier ones. Well, I did try that before with my Thermalright power supply, and it didn't really improve things. Some of it is down to the bearing, but some of it is also down to the grill, and the grill spacing, and the turbulence between the grill. Dave replied, yeah, paired them with the Be Quiet case may be a bad combo.
No, above. I took a look.
Took inside mine, so broke the high voltage label, not sure they'll accept it. Yeah, just get some label remover on it, it'll be fine.
You broke it though.
Broke the seal?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you can just peel the seal off altogether with the label remover.
I only say it didn't have one on there.
Yeah, so it didn't have one on there. I didn't see it. Right, so there's the power supply. I think it's got actually a nice grill, and it's rounded off edges as well. So in terms of airflow, this should be pretty nice. On the back, you've got all of your fully modular connectors. So how many have we got here? Actually, let's show you in front. I'm going to turn the other light on because it seems very dark. You can see that better now. So what we've got 3 peripheral connectors. So that's going to be for your SATAs and your PATAs. You've also got 2 CPU dedicated EPS plugs. You've got what appears to be 2 PCIe and 1 12 volt 2x6, and then you've got your motherboard one at the bottom. So if you have well, normally the CPU ones and the PCI Express ones normally are dual purpose, but on here they have actually kind of given them a dedicated area. So let's have a look.
Quite a lot of steel above the fan.
Yeah, there is, but it's actually quite open. So have a look, give you a close-up of it. So yeah, it's quite roomy and quite airy. I'd say that's more than 50% of the area which is open. And it actually looks like it's quite well made. Got some nice rounded edges, very kind of Corsair-like. On the back, power never ends. On-off switch. It doesn't appear to have a fan lift mode on it, which it may or may not have. I haven't looked into the specs. Literally, like I said, this has only very recently arrived. So we'll have a look and see what it's all about. The thing is with FSP, I would say they are very similar to Seasonic in respects that they just make good stuff. They don't really tend to go all out for the frills and all that kind of stuff. It's just, yeah, a decent... It's actually got a fair amount of weight to it as well. It does feel quite sturdy.
Nice design.
So you get the guide with all the cable lengths, etc. In the accessories, what we got? So we've got some cable ties, we've got some screws to put it in, and also something which you don't get that often these days is the PSU tester. So that just basically bridges out the power supply and the 24 pin, so you can just validate that it works. But we've got our Thermaltake power supply tester, so we will be checking that. What we've got here, cables. So nice cables, decent thick cables as well, decent gauge cabling. I can't see what that says. I think that says up to 300 volts. So yeah, nice flat cables. Another Velcro strap there, which might be useful. So yeah, that's the main motherboard one. So that is actually quite nice. You could make that into a very small compact cable. Just bunch those up together. Now they're overlapping a little bit, but yeah, you could make that quite slim. It's pretty good for a 24 pin. Got the SATAs, so there's what, 4 connections on there, and that is the CPU connections, and they are split. They split on both ends. Yep, split on both ends. So you got 4 or 8s. And do they slot together? No, they don't. That's a little bit of a shame. They're not the slot together ones, so they're kind of loose, which sometimes makes it a little bit difficult to plug them in. But I guess with these things, once they're in, they're in. So that's absolutely fine. What we've got here, got your SATA cables again, PCI Express, and the... I'm interested to see what it says on the 12 volt high power, whether it's a 450 or 600. I'm hoping it's a 600, but it may not be. It's not actually printed on there. So no prints on there, and the cables are reasonably flexible. Not quite as supple as I would have liked, to be completely honest with you. I would have liked them to be a little bit more supple. It's nice to have a little bit of a bend on these. So if you do need to be a little bit closer to the glass, you can be without putting too much strain on there, but that will go at a reasonable right angle without too much difficulty. So yeah, I think that'll be fine. I could do with the tape measure actually. Actually, I'm not going to bother measuring them. Nobody cares, do they? How long they are, really. Comes with a UK power plug. That's a rarity these days. And so what we've got, I want to see, VGA. So how many of those have we got? I'm guessing we've got 2. Yeah, so there's 2 VGA cords, or PCI Express ones, and they have got the 6-pin and the split, and there's a pigtail on each one. So yeah, realistically, if you've got a graphics card which needs 3 plugs, which is reasonably rare, I would say, that's fine, because you've got 4 in total over the 2 cables. So yeah, that works for me. How easy are they to plug in to the actual power supply? Because that is also quite telling as well how well molded these are. So let's try the PCI one, and oh yeah, absolute piece of cake. Comes out nice and easy. Yeah, those are decent connectors. That again is a way you can tell a good power supply from a cheap one. If the plugs have like huge amounts of resistance where the pins aren't very well laid out inside, then yeah, that is good. That does feel quite reassuringly good in there. Let's try this as slightly unusual. So there's a 5-pin with a little clip on the end, so for your accessories. So yeah, it won't accidentally pull out. Although it does pull out a little bit on one side, but so if you want to remove it, just press in the clasp there, and then you can pull those out. That's nice. I've never seen that on an additional accessory plug like SATAs or parallel ATA, for having that little clip to hold it in place. So yeah, that's unusual. Quite like that. So yeah, I think that is pretty nice. So I'm going to fire it up and see what it sounds like. And it's quite a good test to do it when it's just idling, which some people will disagree with. Well, what's it like under load? Well, the thing is your PC going to be under load all the time? No. Most times it's just going to be running a browser, running YouTube, email, whatever, screensaver, CAF's 5 million tabs.
Somebody's decided to just shut down Mac.
Straighten this out. And what we want a CPU one. Let's have a look.
Why did you straighten it out of interest?
Just because it annoys me.
You'll scratch it all up in a case.
That is true.
Usually.
Yeah, that'll do for now. Just plug this in the wall. Prepare to lose video signal. Matthew Day says, I guess 0 fan. I would hope so. But that isn't always guaranteed at this price. Oh, I'll tell you what, if I take off the plastic cover, that helps the plugs go into the wall very much.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, and there goes the signal. I've got nothing on my screen. If I just turn my monitor off, no, it's back. There we go. Turn that off. Oh, there goes the screen.
That sounded horrible.
Yeah. Oh, it come back. Yay. Oh no. Have we lost the... Oh no, we're back. I really need to sort that plug out. I will one day.
Oh, there it goes.
Right. Where is the jump starter now? Oh, it's in the bag. Let's have a look. So let's plug that into there. That's got a nice fit, and turn it on. Ooh, did start up with a bit of a whoo. After that, yeah, that's pretty good. That's moving quite a lot of air actually. I will get the, it's not a zero fan, it is actually running at quite a rate. Is there a PCIe 12 volt to Duo? No, there isn't. I think it's getting quieter.
Bang!
Can anyone hear that? That is pretty quiet. I will somewhat agree with the Cybertronics rating on that. That does seem really quiet. You can definitely hear that there's air moving through it. But yeah, effectively that is silent. For it to be silent without having a 0 dB mode, that is pretty impressive. Right, let's turn it off. I'm happy with that. Hey, Sinister Chef. Oh, I've lost the signal again.
I'm going to have to disappear because Candy's going to rip my legs to shreds if I don't feed her.
Okay.
Come on then. Oh, God.
Right, let's unplug that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. That looks to me like a decent power supply. I will try and put it through some of its paces at some point. I'm just glad it isn't noisy as all hell, because I get really frustrated when companies make those crazy claims. Say, oh yeah, our power supply is super silent and it gives off like 30 dBA or something. It's like, well, this room, if I'm completely silent, I don't say anything, just the ambient noise in the room is somewhere in the region of about 40 decibels. So if that is true, that these power supplies, not this particular one, but if power supplies in general, if they send them for review, if they say the power supply is no louder than 30 decibels, so in theory I shouldn't be able to hear it at all over the ambient noise. And I generally always can. And I need to rub my eye now. I'm just saying that because there is definitely something in my eye. I think it's cats. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, there is something there. Very annoying. I wasn't lying, it wasn't a towel. If only. Yeah, it does bug me when manufacturers say that. And the thing is, I think a lot of them do their testing much like Steve at Gamers Nexus. So they put it into like one of those soundproof rooms, which isn't really appropriate because obviously none of us have got a soundproof room. And if you've got a noise floor of like, say 14 decibels in one of those like soundproof chambers, if you put your power supply on, because it's one of those noise deadening rooms, it's not going to sound as loud as it would do in a normal room, if that makes sense. Because that is the whole point of those sound deadening rooms, that they've got all those like sponges and weird shapes which kind of distort what is actual sound. And I know Steve spent like £250,000 on that thing, but it still begs the question of like, actually why bother? Because if anything, that's making testing harder to do. It's easier to test against others in a like-for-like situation, but it doesn't give you an accurate representation of the actual noise level of the item being tested. It just means that you can replicate tests and see differences between them, but you can't get accurate noise levels because the whole point of that room is that it kills noise. Anyway, that's enough of that. And I think that is one thing that a lot of people sort of do get a little bit confused about, especially with some of those reviews, that it's not intended to be a guide of how loud or how it's going to sound to you, because your stuff will never ever sound the same as it does in one of those rooms by design. So anyway, there you go. David Underhill's broadband is back. Good. Cool Cat, is Mike shilling for the big PSU? No. I get the power supply which suits your build. That is the thing I've kind of always tried to do. And I've always actually underspent, if anything. Or I look for a bargain of something which is of a decent quality and suits my purposes. You know what I'm like here. When it comes to noise, I cannot use power supplies, fans, graphics cards, coolers that make a noise. Because it just drives me freaking insane. The amount of AIOs I've gone through because they've had noisy pumps, when to most normal people they'd be like, I can't hear anything. But to me, it's like there's a pitch and it just drives me insane. So yeah, I don't go there because it is just too much and I can't cope with it. It drives me mad. And I always wait for someone to say on a video, what is that noise in the background? But they don't. They just say, I can't understand you. You're Bristolian. Anyway. Greg says, I don't mind noise. I am old. Well, I'm old, but I do mind noise. Viali says, Mike, your PC in the back looks very, very good. Thank you very much, Viali. I am really proud of that build, actually. I've done quite well. Cool Cat says, your own voice in a soundproof room sounds very strange. You don't realise how much audio reverberation until you're exposed to it on a day-by-day basis. Yeah, definitely. Dave Hunter says, if your PSU is in a soundproof room, is it really noisy? No. That is the misleading thing. You'd think, if a room's been soundproofed, you think that it's just preventing the sound escaping, but it's not. At the same time, it's actually dampening the sound in the room. So like you see these YouTubers and live streamers, etc., and they've got all those like panels and stuff on the walls. That makes them sound completely different from what they would in real life. But obviously the microphone does it as well. But the padding on the wall changes the acoustics of the room and also everything inside the room. So it normally takes away kind of hum and reflection and some reverb. But yeah, it's a very strange thing. O'Reilly says, I only notice noise around 40 dB. I play with headphones, and once I'm focused in the gaming zone, concentrating on the game, I won't notice noise unless it's high tone or 60 dB plus. Got it. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do that sometimes on the computer and I'm editing or whatever, and Kath's talking away, and it's like I got zoned in. Like unless there's a specific trigger word or something, I don't pay much attention.
Don't even have to be doing anything.
Cool Cat. Yep, that's precisely right, Mike. Thanks, Cool Cat. Sam Rab says, sorry, Mike, I thought the case review Friday was the new streaming PC until I read your comment. Think the TT is better. Thank you very much. Yeah, the review that went out, it was strange that Geometric Futures case, the review didn't, I wouldn't say it bombed, but it didn't do quite as well as I would have hoped it to. I think a lot of that has to do with the current climate, and also the case has been out for a while, so there's not that much interest in it, and people in general just aren't interested in building PCs, it would seem, outside of the core user groups, which we're very thankful for. But yeah, the Geometric Future, if it wasn't for the fact that at the moment I'm getting quite a few cases coming through, I probably would have stayed with it and had it as my my streaming PC. There were a couple of things about it which I didn't entirely like. I didn't like the fact that I found it hard to match up the fans. I think somebody mentioned that in the video, that the fans look really nice, but because I had the other fans from the thermal right cooler in there, it just didn't look right. And yeah, I do agree with that entirely. I think in cases these days, ideally, if you can, you want to try and match up the fans as best as possible. But yeah.
I don't know why this isn't on.
Dave Aiken says, I'm similar to you, Mike. Idle has to be quiet. Yeah, it doesn't have to be silent, but as long as it's not distracting. Or there's like, if a fan is running and it's running at a constant speed and it's just like that airflow, like the whooshing of air, I can live with that. That's fine. Like at the moment, the PC behind me, I'm trying to work out which fan it is. There's one set of fans in there which I think is running at a slightly higher RPM, so I can just about hear the air like kind of whooshing through the blades, but it's not distracting, so I can just carry on talking and it doesn't bother me. But if there's some fans in there which are like ticking or clicking or anything like that, or just like a variation in RPMs quite regularly, that will drive me insane. This is going to be a good one. Question, maybe I'm stupid, but if I have that FSP Vita 1000W and I need 2 times PCIe for motherboard and need 3 times 8-pin PCIe for the GPU, how does it work with that PSU? So you would have your 2 individual cables for the EPS, 12-volt power, to the motherboard. That's fine. You've got 2 cables for your graphics card, and both of them have got pigtails on. So effectively you've got 4 PCI Express connectors over 2 cables, which, to be honest with you, for most people is absolutely fine. If you've got a graphics card which needs 3 PCIe 8-pin connections, the chances of it actually really drawing as much power as those plugs can deliver is extremely unlikely, because I'm pretty sure each one of those PCI Express plugs is rated for like 300 watts, but ideally they like to be run at 150. So if you've got 3 connections, that means you've got a 450 watt graphics card, roughly. But even so, over 2 plugs and 1 daisy chain, you'll be fine. So yeah, that'll work fine. Mark Gaines got a super chat, a super sticker there rather. He's been a member now for 8 months. Mike, is the Gigabyte Gaming AIO any good? I'll be honest with you, I do not know. Gigabyte is one of those brands which I very rarely get the opportunity to test or do anything with, other than some of the kind of entry-level motherboards, which I do tend to buy because they are incredibly inexpensive. But yeah, in terms of their AIOs, their coolers, even things like their RAM and power supplies, it's very rare that we actually see them here at all at sensible prices. I would love to have a Gigabyte system with like Gigabyte keyboard, Gigabyte mouse, all that kind of stuff. But it's just really hard to get hold of it, especially at like sensible prices. So my honest answer is I do not know. I wish I could say it's good or it's bad or point out any potential issues with it, but as far as I know, yeah, I've not heard anything bad about them, and I don't know about them, and I've not used one, so yeah, I'm not very helpful there. Yeah, that is it. Right, let's move on to the next part, and that is the new MSI B850 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. So this is going to be the go-to board for pretty much most AM5 builds going forward. The previous version, the B650 Tomahawk, was a great board and still is a great board, to be fair. But obviously people are somewhat led by marketing and somewhat led by pricing. The 800 series of the MSI boards are actually not too far off the 600 series pricing now. So what is Maisie doing? What are you doing, Mabes? Just trying to get comfy. You ain't got enough grip in that box, have you? Right, sorry, I do apologise. Yeah, so this I think is going to be the next kind of big seller. So we've already seen previously the Max version of this. Now, a very, very quick rundown of what the differences are between the Tomahawk Wi-Fi and the Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi. The first one is price. This one should be retailing for anywhere between £20 to £30 cheaper, which puts it under £200 in the majority of cases, depending obviously when and where you're buying it from. Now this is like brand new, so at the moment I can only find one place in the UK which actually sells this, which was, I believe, Overclockers. So they are still selling this for kind of like the launch price, which I think is still a little bit high. Amazon might have had it as well, slightly higher again, possibly. You have to check the links out, I can't remember completely. But yeah, that is the first difference. The second difference is this has one less M.2 slot. So
in fact, I don't think I could find it on Overclockers.
Because you're not?
No.
I know, because I said it was on overclockers. Yeah. In the links, there is an Amazon link for this, but you can get it on overclockers. But you do have to search for it manually on overclockers. If you do a Google search, it just won't come up because it is that new. Anyway, I digress. So this one has got 3 M.2 slots. So the top one is PCI Express Gen 5. The other 2 are PCI Express Gen 4x4. The Max version has 2 PCI Express Gen 5 slots at the top. Then it has a PCI Express Gen 4x4 at the bottom and a PCI Express Gen 4x2 at the bottom. If you use the 4x2 slot, it disables the bottom PCI Express slot, and conversely, if you use the bottom PCI Express slot, it disables the 4x2 slot. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is the key differences. The Tomahawk Max also has an additional PCI Express slot. So on the top, you've got the PCI Express Gen 5, then you've got a Gen 4, another Gen 4, and then at the bottom, you've got a Gen 4x4 in a 16x size, whereas this one has got a PCI Express Gen 3 ×1 at the bottom. So that is basically kind of like the key differences. In terms of the VRM, I'm pretty sure the VRM is basically the same. The heat sinks appear to be basically the same as well. And also, the audio solution is the same. And I'm pretty sure the LAN is the same as well. So 5 gigabit LAN and Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. David Earl says, I love MSI, 4 builds so far this year. Still got something like that. I think it's a cat hair. Cat hairs are so fine, aren't they? Getting your shit. What about PCIe bifurcation? Right, this board basically has none. So you can use all the slots, all the ports, and it all just works. Which I feel is a selling point. Bifurcation is handy. I'm going to get this out before I talk.
I don't know if you want to check the chat. Don't know if you want to check the chat.
Right, there's a Wi-Fi antenna in there, magnetic. There's also a additional M.2 what do you call it? Nipple, for want of a better word. And there is the board. Greg says I have the bloody cat hairs. I have the Max Wi-Fi board. USB-C issues with it. That's in. Oh, I'm glad you said that. That is another difference on this board. So on the Max version, on the I/O on the back, you've got 2 20 gigabit per second ports for USB Type-C, whereas this has only got a single 20 gigabit one. The other one is a 10. So actually, let's do the I/O while we're in this section. So CMOS reset button, BIOS flashback button. You've got HDMI 2.1 supporting FRL. And then you've got USB 10 gigabit per second Type A, 10 gigabit per second Type C, 2 5 gigabit per second, blue color coded. Then you've got a stack. Get that bag off there, please. Right, sit the hell down, Flame, you big ginger lump. Like a bloody zoo. You've got a stack of 4 USB 2.0s, so that's actually a really good decision, I feel personally, because like USB 2s, you don't really want to waste USB ports on low power devices, do you? So 4 of those, that makes perfect sense. So keyboard, mouse, microphone, headset, perfect. No complaints about that whatsoever. Some people go, oh, it's only got USB 2 ports on the back. So, well, that makes absolute sense. Like, why plug in a keyboard or a mouse or a headset or a microphone into a USB 3.0? You're just wasting bandwidth. That could be used much better elsewhere. John David Sullivan's been a member for 20 months. So he's got 3 MSI motherboards, a B850M mortar, an X570, and a X870E Tomahawk. Nice. Tomahawk boards are always like really, really popular. I guess it goes back from the B450 range, which was just kind of sublime. Oh, did I get rid of that? Apparently I did. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, 4 USB Type A's, that makes absolute sense to me. You've got 5 gigabit LAN, that's a Realtek 8126VE or VM. I can never remember which one it is. It's basically an 8126, so 5 gigabit. Also does 2.5 gigabit, 1 gigabit, and 10100. Underneath that, a 10 gigabit per second USB Type A, and then underneath that, the fastest port on there, that is a 20 gigabit per second USB Type C. So that's going to be great for things like capture cards or for kind of portable SSDs, that type of thing. That's going to be the port you're going to want to use. You've got the push fit connectors for the Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. Also, as with most boards these days, if you don't plug the antennas in, the Bluetooth range will be hideous. It will literally have to be kind of right next to the board, otherwise it won't work. So do make sure, even if you're not planning on using Wi-Fi, but you are using Bluetooth, make sure you plug in your antennas. Audio solution is the ALC 4080, which is a pretty decent one. I like that. You got audio in, audio out, and a digital SPDIF. Have a quick drink. Dave Innerdale says the B850 Edge Wi-Fi versus the B850 Tomahawk Max. Only difference is the colour. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, the Edge Wi-Fi boards tend to be white. Hey Source K, how you doing? So connections at the top, 2 PCIe EPS connectors for power to the board. It's a 14 plus 2 plus 1 VRM, I believe. Where did I read that? I can't remember. It was on here somewhere. But yeah, it's a dual rail power system. 14 plus 2 plus 1, I'm pretty sure. Or 14 plus 2 plus 2. I always get that bit wrong, but the plus bits make no difference at all, really. It's the main phases you're more concerned with. So obviously AM5 socket. 9000 series ready out of the box, as kind of you pretty much expect by now. So this board, out of the box, supports every single 9000 series and 7000 series, and I suppose by that 8000 series processor that is currently available on the market. So you shouldn't really have to do a BIOS update on this until they start releasing a couple of new processors. At the top, you've got a CPU fan header, AIO header, and a chassis fan header. Nice positions for those, and also those are all up to 2 amps. Then you've got the RGB, 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB Gen 2, and you've got another system fan header there. Underneath that, diagnostic DLED, as you'd expect from pretty much every board. I don't know why it isn't like a law that all boards have to have a diagnostic DLED. It just makes life so much easier. For those of you that are watching don't know what a DLED is, basically it's like a diagnostic debug tool. So depending on what is lit up, that is your problem. So there's a CPU LED, there's a RAM LED, there's a VGA LED, and a boot LED. Depending on which one it stops on, that basically points you in the direction of what the problem is with your system. Thank you, Mark Gaines, for your £10 super chat. Thank you very much. It says, my Corsair IQ Titan AIO replacement is glitching out again, and that's why I asked about the Gigabyte Gaming AIO. That is a shame. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Corsair isn't the company it once was, which is really sad. And I think it's a lot more telling these days because they've started going down the traditional ARGB route. So rather than using, like, obviously they've still got the option to use the iLinks or IQ or whatever, the various different connections, but they are starting to go back to the standard RGB, which means one of two things. Either they're trying to give cheap options, save money, or actually, I don't know. It just seems weird because Corsair always try to lock you in. Always try to lock you into that IQ ecosystem. But by having the option of having their equipment run on the normal 3-pin 5-volt ARGB means that you can completely avoid it. So like the new RS120 fans, those work great and they're really cost effective and they work on a normal PWM and ARGB header. So like when they're making fans that good, that are that cheap, why would you bother buying the more expensive ones? Other than maybe the ability to daisy chain them or something, or individually control LED lighting, which is a nice thing, but it's also very much a kind of, you're basically locking yourself into an ecosystem as soon as you start doing that stuff, which is sometimes a pain because it means just another piece of software. So if you've got, say, Gigabyte Control Center installed and you've got IQ, they might conflict. If you've got some, there are some brands which don't seem to conflict as much as others. I think Corsair is one of those ones which can be a little bit fiddly with that sort of stuff. And obviously Lian Li's L-Connect as well. I hear a lot of people having problems with L-Connect and not playing ball particularly well with other boards. Seems that MSI seems to do quite well. MSI work really well with Corsair, and they work well with Lian Li as well. Which, whether it's just one of those weird coincidences or whether they actually do sit down with people at a table or do in-depth testing with the software and make sure they're all talking to each other, who knows. Anyway, where did I get to? Oh yeah, diagnostic DLEDs. 24-pin power connector. You got 4 RAM slots there. So this is one of the first kind of small differences between the boards. So this supports officially up to 8200 mega transfers for the RAM, whereas the Max version supports up to 8400. So a little bit different there. Maybe it's to do with the signaling. I'm not entirely sure. This is a 6-layer PCB, whereas I've got a feeling the Max version might be an 8-layer. I've not got one to hand, or if anyone's got one, let me know. Is the Max an 8-layer PCB? I think it possibly might be, which would explain why you've got a little bit better RAM capacity or speeds, because the extra layers between the tracks possibly. Sinister Chef says, if I take dynamic lighting off, my MSI GPU and Corsair haven't been wanting to work with each other. Yeah, I think dynamic lighting has actually caused more problems than it's fixing. Dynamic lighting is like, Microsoft don't do things particularly well these days, and the implementation of dynamic lighting seems to be one of the worst things they've done in a long time, other than Copilot, and OneDrive, and Edge, and Teams. I'll stop there. Anyway, so 4 RAM slots, so I think 192 is easy on there. Probably do 256 as well if you can. Not that you're going to be able to buy 256 gigabytes of RAM, because that is going to cost you, it's going to be $1,000, isn't it? At least, if not more. So yeah, you wouldn't want to spend that much money. Where else we got? So Easy Connect connector. This is quite a new thing for MSI. So the Easy Connect connection block. Some of their new AIOs and also some of their cooling solutions have got the Easy Connect. So that basically splits into 3 connection plugs. So one is USB 2.0 for data, one is 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB for lighting, and the other one is PWM 4-pin for fan speeds, fan control, that sort of thing. So some of the new MSI AIOs come with the Easy Connect connection, so just one plug straight in. You can control it all from either in the BIOS, or you can control it from like MSI Center, that sort of thing, if you wanted to. So that's fine. USB-C front panel connector. You also got the really nice toggle for the PCI Express Gen 5 slot. So open it, it toggles it open, close it, toggles it closed. So that's really good. Saves you having to stab at the plastic clips with a screwdriver to try and get your graphics card out, which is never a great idea, although we've probably all done it at some point or other. And while we're in that location, the top slot, PCI Express Gen 5 ×4, and it's got the quick release connector, so you just push that in there and lift it out. So no screws required, which is excellent. And you've got the kind of plastic clasp on there for putting your M.2s in. If you don't want to use the plastic clasp, then actually let me think about this. How does that connect onto there? I was thinking actually that you could remove that and put on the nipple type one, but you can't, because that is part of the locking mechanism. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. So you've got the little plastic thing, so it is toolless, but the plastic bits aren't quite as easy as what we've got on the bottom bit, which I will show you very shortly. Actually, we want to do the M.2s now, aren't we? Get them out of the way. So like I said, M.2 at the top, PCI Express Gen 5 by 4. Obviously backwards compatible as well with Gen 3, Gen 4, etc. And the bottom, big heatsink. I'll grab myself a screwing driver. So this is one which does require screws to move it, which would have been nice if they had the quick release on this, but I guess obviously prices permitting, they can't. So massive heat pad along there for heat distribution, pretty decent thermal solution there, and you've got the little nipple bits there. So you just kind of push them and they lock into place or take out. So let's grab a drive. What we got here? Got the Western Digital. Obviously any brand will be the same, but all you do is get your drive and put it into the slot as you would normally on a little bit of angle, kind of wiggle it into it's in firmly, and then just push down and that locks into place. And to remove it, you just pull the nipple out of the way, like flicking the nipple. Aletta's going to love this board, and yeah, there you go. Very easy to do, and obviously the same on the other side as well. Just push it into place. So a toolless solution, he says. Yeah, I like those. They're pretty good, and you get a spare one of those actually in the kit. So if you want to put a smaller drive in the top slot, you can add it in if you need to, or if they break or whatever. I don't know why they put it in there really, because it doesn't make a great deal of sense putting it on the top, because most drives are the 2280 form factor. But anyway.
How many people are going to think of it like that now?
What, flicking the nipple?
Every time they touch that.
Let's make it a thing. Let's have a hashtag, flick the nipple. Oh dear, there goes our monetization. So let's put that back on actually, so I don't lose it. This board, I should say as well, in complete transparency, has been sent to us free of charge for review purposes from MSI. They haven't asked me to say or do anything as usual. They just want me to have a look at it, make a video if I wanted to, blah blah blah, etc etc. No money has changed hands, and this board, as far as I know, will be going back to them after. So there's no incentive for me to say anything which is untrue, or to kind of emphasize any ports or parts unnecessarily, because kind of is what it is. I would actually like to have this board, but for me it wouldn't work in my current setup, because in the streaming PC, which is where I would put it, because I think that would actually work a bit better in there, a bit darker than the Gaming Plus, because it's got the silver highlights, although I kind of like the silver highlights now that it's in there. But I do take advantage of the bottom slot, which is a PCI Express Gen 4 on that board, and it's a ×4 sized card which goes in there. So this I couldn't really use in there. I'd have to put the capture card in there, which might be a little bit close to the GPU. Not keen on doing that. So yeah, as much as I like this board, I probably wouldn't ever use it anyway, personally, for my setup. Dutch Jan at Mike, B850 Tomahawk Wi-Fi and Tomahawk Wi-Fi Max, both Wi-Fi, both 8 PCB layers. Is this 8 layer? I'm sure this is a 6 layer. I am going to have to check on that, because I have actually got the website up. Actually, let's go over to the Stream desktop, which, yeah, hopefully you can see that. So, yeah, we'll go through. I'm sure I was... Where did I see it?
They're still talking...
Oh, yeah. 14 plus 2 plus 1. I was right with that. I thought it was right the first time. There we go. 6 layer server grade with 2-ounce copper PCB. So this is a 6 layer board, not an 8 layer. If that was, I'm sure the Tomahawk Max is an 8 layer, but I could be wrong. I would have to look at it.
No, look down.
Look down. Look down where?
Roll down maybe?
I am rolling down. How far behind is the chat? Does it say? Hey, Scott.
You still got talking nipples in the chat.
David Nurse says the max is an 8-layer. 6-layer with a flickable nipple. You got it. Doesn't say on there. 6-layer. Where am I looking, Jan? Is it that's Jan, Rayman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a 6-layer versus an 8-layer on the other.
He's put a link in.
Okay, let's open that up. Go to site.
Virus alert.
Okay, is that the same board? Yeah, Tomahawk Wi-Fi.
We got an ad with it.
Yeah, that says the same there. 6-layer server grade with 2-ounce PCB. On the half of the page. I don't know where you mean. In the specifications, maybe? On the half of the page. See if there's any further on there. Yeah, no, just it says 6-layer there, but on the half of the page. I'm trying to think where else it could be. PCB design. Ah, yes, on there it says 8-layer PCB.
Good spot.
So, yeah, PCB design, got it, well done. So yeah, it says 8-layer there. Well spotted. Yeah, power solution, PCB design. So, I don't know, I'm not sure if I can actually count the layers, but it does look quite thin.
Get your microscope out.
Right, let's I would say this is a 6-layer because it does appear to be quite thin.
See it.
I don't know if you can, because I think they seal the edges so you can't really tell. Let me see, if I got an 8-layer board, I might have an 8-layer board. Let's see what I've got. Yeah. The Z890 Edge TI Wi-Fi. That I'm almost 100% sure is an 8-layer, if not more.
MSI.
Yeah. So I don't know whether it's actually visible or not, but that looks the same. Actually, no, it doesn't. Right, Kath.
Yeah.
Hang on. Oh God, fuck shit. Right. Look at the corner on there, and then that corner there. Does that
touching anything I shouldn't?
That's right. Is that white one thicker? That's
hard to tell because the colour isn't.
It is hard to tell, but it does look a bit thicker, doesn't it? I would say that board is thicker, personally.
Yeah, a little bit. Stinks though.
Stinks?
Like plastic.
I thought I'd shit myself.
No,
again.
not there.
I've shit myself again. Oh.
Get the calipers.
I'm on the main camera? Yeah, I am. Sorry. Calipers. Yeah, I've got some calipers, actually.
But it's just the way your trousers hung.
Digital calipers. Where have I put those? I think I know where they are.
Get the saw out. Get the chainsaw out.
Get the chainsaw out.
And send it back.
If in doubt, DeWalt the bejesus out of it. Where is it in there?
Just drill through the middle, like a little area that's got nothing. And we're counting.
There we go. Does this work? On, off. Oh, I bet the battery's flat.
Oh, you should have had two on your charger.
No, it's not flat, it's just rubbish. It needs pushing down. Right, let's zero that.
Right, pressure. Wow, Mike is so organised. Oh, babe.
I did a thing. Right, let's...
I get so stressed when you can't find stuff.
So that is... Oh, God. This thing's all over the place.
Smells like anus.
So that says 34, roughly 3.4 mil. I'm trying...
34, 3.4.
Oh, bollocks now. 0. That says 130. Let me try that again. I think I've done something wrong there. 0.
6 or 8, it's all marketing bullshit.
Yeah. This says 1.5, 1.6. So yeah, that's 1.3, roughly 1.4, and that's kind of 1.5, 1.6. So yeah, it's marginally thicker, but yeah, I wouldn't have thought it's enough to make a huge difference, to be completely honest with you. And being that I bought this from the shop I work in, the chances of this actually giving any kind of reliable information is very rare, but it does appear to my naked eye, it does look like the MSI 800 series board for the Intel is thicker.
But it's white, so it would look bigger, wouldn't it, anyway?
I know. That's, yeah, that's what it would do.
You're only talking like black always makes you look thinner, doesn't it?
This is a nuts board. It is nuts. It's got 3 Type C connectors, 2 of which are Thunderbolt.
Is that 1.4?
It's mad. Millimeters, yeah. So that's like 1.3, 1.4 mil. This one's like 1.5, 1.6 mil. So there's a very small difference. So I'm not sure what that would be in terms of percentage, but I'm almost 100% sure this is an 8-layer PCB. In fact, it probably does say somewhere on the back, doesn't it? Does it? No, 8-channel audio. I think that's different. I love this board, and I really should be using it. But it's a white PC, and yeah, we haven't done one of those for a while. Someone actually asked me if I wanted to sell that board, and I was like, oh, I don't know where it is, because I didn't really want to get rid of it. So I do quite like it. Let's go back to that page there. Live stream, there we go. Where we go? Astro page. Astrocraft. Building my PC next week. This channel has been super helpful with choosing the parts and reviews. Oh, awesome. Glad to be of use.
Did they buy the RAM recently?
Yeah. Have you bought the RAM already? I hope so. Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, M.2 slots we've done. So yeah, PCI Express Gen 5x4, Gen 4x4, Gen 4x4, PCI Express Gen 5x16, PCI Express Gen 4x4, PCI Express Gen 3x1. And it's got an unusual thing there. There's 2 little jumpers there, which are for unlocking B-clock, overclocking. But they've not included any jumpers in the box, which seems a little bit kind of strange. I don't really get that. But anyway, I think this is a really nice board. I'm 100% positive this is going to sell like absolute hotcakes. Got a really decent amount of slots on there. So you've got 8 USBs in total, I think it is. 10 USBs, which I think is more than enough. Only 2 of them are Type C, but realistically, how many things these days are actually on USB Type C other than things like phone chargers and maybe the occasional USB drives? It's quite rare. Most things, especially obviously keyboards, mice, webcams, microphones, headphones, a lot of them tend to be on USB Type A. So I think it's a really decent solution. I like the board. Again, due to my current setup, I would struggle to use, actually, I'm just going to check something because I might be able to actually use it. I've got another capture card in here somewhere, which I believe is that one. Yeah, the AverMedia Live Gamer 4K 2.1. This actually fits in, oh no, PCI Express Gen 3 ×4 slot. So that needs a ×4 slot. So that is unfortunate. I could have used that. And that actually synchronizes with MSI lighting, which would have been great in there. So I couldn't use that one. But for streaming purposes, I don't need that higher refresh. So I could use that one there, the Live Streamer HD Ultra, which would fit in the bottom slot because this only requires PCI Express Gen 3 ×1. So that would actually be perfect. So I could plug in my HDMI camera into there, and I could actually use that in the stream PC. If MSI were gracious enough to let me keep it, but I don't think they will, to be fair. Quite often, especially with a lot of manufacturers these days, when it comes to sending out review samples, that is literally what they are these days. It is a sample. You very rarely get to keep anything.
They do pay the postage back.
Yeah, they pay the postage though, which is quite expensive.
£2 back.
Hey Morton, and everyone in the chat. Upper Marlborough, MD USA. How you doing?
What does MD stand for?
MD is good question actually. Upper Marlborough MD. Where's MD? Do you know?
No.
No. Where's MD in the USA? MD. I'm trying to think of what. McDonald's? No.
Maryland.
Maryland. Ah, thank you. Maryland. See, everyone knows. It's probably because they live there.
Just us two that don't.
We're just dumb. Ooh, the English. Anyway, excellent. So, that is the MSI board. Anyone got any questions about it before we put it away? Oh yeah, Greg's in Canada. That's close. Canada's basically America. You're joined. It's like us in Wales. We know bits about Wales. Can't say any of it, but we know bits about it. Right, doesn't seem to be any questions. I like their cookies. Yeah, Maryland cookies. The best cookies.
George likes them.
We actually did a review on the channel of Maryland cookies years and years ago.
I find it.
If you want to have a laugh, go and watch it.
It's terrible.
It's one of the worst videos we've ever done, but I enjoyed it because I got to drink beer and eat cookies at the same time and essentially get paid for it. What a
We
life.
didn't get paid back then. But we did actually, because we didn't have to have 1,000 subs back then.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get paid.
Viali says if it was an Asus, then maybe some questions. You're a hard man to please. Well, in that case then, what we got?
That's how much we've earned on it. Oh, that's only in the last 48 hours we've earned on it. That's it for lifetime.
Hey there, Jamie. Oh, actually, I don't want to put that back down there, do I? Because that is my keeping slot.
On that cookie video for the entire time,
Don't know. 2p.
which was 18th of Feb 2017.
2017, we made the video on the Maryland cookies. How much have we earned?
29 pence.
29 pence. Boom. That doesn't even pay for the cookies. Or the beer. Prime X870p Wi-Fi. Nice board. Or if you want something a little bit cheaper, got the Strix B850-A gaming Wi-Fi. That was a cracking deal. I got this on Amazon for £107, I think, or £104. That was a cracking deal.
Crypto.
Nice board. There, you've seen 2 MSI boards and 2 Asus ones, so I'm not a fanboy elitist in any way, shape, or form.
Rub your eye again. Crypto. Get a little confusing. now, saying all these words at once.
I need a reason to upgrade from M4 to M5. Pros and cons. Oof, that's a hard one, Crypto. Does anybody else want to chime in and save me? What have you got? So I've got a board, a 550F and G. What processor have you got on your AM4? Because that is going to be one of the kind of key things. Because the thing is, you get to a point with AM4 where your processor, if you're on like a 5700, 5800, either of the X3D variants of that, or sometimes even a 5600 to some extent, if you're at that end of the processors already, kind of upgrading to AM5 is really going to be kind of not really a sideways move, but depending on what processor you go to, it's just going to be an expensive upgrade. So if you are kind of coping on what you've got, then maybe stick with it. If you've got a 5950X in both, then there's no point. Honestly, no point at all. Unless for some reason it's doing something that, or it's not allowing you to do something that you need to do, there's honestly no point. The entire platform change from AM4 to AM5 was purely for DDR5 and arguably PCI Express Gen 5, which has taken so long to take any real effect that it was kind of pointless anyway. If they had just continued on AM4 path with DDR4 and just enhancing the processors like Intel did for the last 10 years, everyone would be happy and we'd all be on the same platform and it would be great. But yeah, if you're on a 5950X on both and you've got decent boards, there's literally no point in upgrading to AM5. As much as, yes, it would be nice, like, don't get me wrong, if you're feeling a bit flush and you've got a bit of money and you like building PCs and you just want to do it because you want to change platforms, then great. Or if you can sell one of the PCs to kind of fund it, then yeah, cool, do it. But realistically, if it's going to be one of those things where if you try and sell your existing PC, you're going to lose money on it and you're not exactly rolling in it, so you don't have like oodles of cash knocking around, and especially at this time of the PC buying kind of cycle, RAM is extremely expensive, so any real benefits of upgrading the platform are going to be completely offset by the extra price of the RAM. So I would say, yeah, if you're on AM4 and you've got a pretty decent platform already, do not upgrade this year. Simple as that. Yeah, if anything, like upgrade your GPU or something. Like GPU upgrades are a viable thing at the moment because they're coming down to semi-reasonable prices. But yeah, that's... Sinister Chef says, yeah, RAM really kills it for now. I agree. It's true. And DDR4 at the moment is basically like similar prices. Like there are still some DDR4 deals on places like eBay, like Facebook Marketplace, those kind of things, or Craigslist. Is Craigslist still a thing, or has that been like abolished or something? Craigslist. You don't really hear that being mentioned at all these days. Is it gone?
Is it like our what was it called? Trade It.
Trade It, yeah.
I think, but Gumtree's more our English version of it now, isn't it?
I wonder why. I mean, I can click on something. I can't click on it twice. Bengal Cat Chili. That's a great name. My DDR5 kit was 146 US dollars in, Aussie dollars in August. Same kit is 500 plus now. And I've yet to open it. Don't open it, sell it. And then just, if you don't need it, just hang fire. Crypto KG says I have 64 gigs in one and 128 gigs in the other. Yeah, you've got there's no point you upgrading.
And you're encouraging people to do it.
Wow, I don't mind our community making money. What are you doing? It's gone.
Oh, is it?
You're just not caught up.
I've got it going as fast as I can.
Okay. Where do we get to?
But I bought everything else. Haha. I'm in a weird position.
I've actually got a really nice set of DDR4 RAM, which was personalised for the channel. which is up here somewhere. I think, if I can find it. Let me have a quick look. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Yeah, stashed away at the back. So I got some V-color RAM. Some of you may not have seen this yet. It is pretty darn cool. Where's my chair? Bit dusty. So this is a 32 gigabyte kit of DDR4, and this is DDR4 4266. So obviously the normal stuff was like 3200 or 3600. This is 4266, running at 1.45 volts, and it comes with an RGB dummy kit as well. So you've got the 2 normal sticks plus a dummy kit, and these have actually got... Dun, dun, dun. I'll show you. So they have actually got the Mike's Unboxing logo printed on them, or kind of etched into it. Only on one though, it seems. I suppose you're only ever going to see one anyway, aren't you, on the outside edge? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, Prism Pro. I wonder if the other kit has it on as well. I don't think it does. But I used these probably twice. And yeah, those just say V-color in the corner. But yeah, they actually put Mike's Unboxing on there. That was one of their kind of value-added services. So they would do that for manufacturers so they could have their own logos on it. Or they did it as like a promo thing to some YouTubers. I think I've only ever seen one other place that had it, and I think, well, I'll try to remember who it was now. I think it was Linus Tech Tips. I'm not sure, but not many people review V-color RAM. It was weird because they reached out to us and just like, yeah, just sent us the kit. It's like, okay, fine, whatever.
You can do laser engraving on the RAM PC.
Yeah, I think that's what it might be. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway. So those, the 32 gig kit with the dummy kit for extra RAM goodness. I have no idea what these would be worth now. I don't think I've ever seen DDR4 4266, and the timings are, I'm not too sure actually. Doesn't say on there. No, but anyway, yeah, those are pretty cool. But if it gets to the point, I don't use them, so I might actually sell them. If anybody wants a 32 gig kit and can make use of them, this corner over there is like the corner of shame. So I've got the GT 1030s in there. Also, there's an AMD stock cooler. Also, my 8600G, which again I don't know why I bought that. Really, that was a bit of a mistake.
Mike, can you build a new PC for 600 GBP now?
Firephone, yes you can, but it would be not as good as it would have been before.
And Dutch Jan underneath.
Dutch Jan, well, Mark
What
was
that RAM, I think it means.
What was that RAM?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Mark, I'm not sure what that means, sorry.
Which brand was that RAM?
Oh, what brand? It was V-color. V-color. C-O-L-O-R.
He's put it underneath, actually.
Jamie says, does anyone remember about 20 years ago when people would nick RAM out of PCs? It's going back to that, lol. I think it will be. I'm sure that's going to be a thing.
Just wait until rubber goes and you'll be having your shoes nicked again.
Yeah, I am going to go to PC World or our local Currys and see what cases they've got with quick release side panels.
Well, if they've got the cheese in security boxes, I'm sure they'll have their PCs in something.
Saul says, which is the most powerful processor for AM4? It depends really. If you want a powerful CPU, it's probably the 5950X because it's got loads of cores and it goes pretty fast. For gaming, it's going to be the 5800X 3D or the 5700X 3D. Okay. Right, let's move on. So we've got one more thing to look at. This is going to be the case, again, from FSP. This has been funny, actually, because they reached out to us probably 2 months ago or so. And
That's my embroidery stuff, but I can't do the light.
is there anything on there which is... Oh, yeah. Hang on. I've got to take my my address label off the side.
Credentials.
And my credentials. Just got to take my digital ID off the side.
So you don't use my limit of whatever.
What's that on there? Christ, my eyesight. Right, okay. There we go.
Oh, not get by your fingers.
That's a...
No, the other side. Oh, well. That's okay.
That's fine. So, this is the M580 Plus, which is really handy having a name of a case, which is so close to everything else on the computer front at the moment. So there's obviously the B580 and there's also the B850, just to confuse things. So you can get an idea of what the case is like. So it is a wraparound glass panel, fish tank style, comes included with some very interesting fans, strangely. And this retails for around about £80. So very similar in price to something like the Corsair Frame 4000D RS. Similar things like that.
Take that off before you go too far.
Sorry, let's get rid of the bit off the bottom. Otherwise Welly Bob will be complaining. So yeah, general idea, you can get this in black or white. Yeah, generally nice case. You can get it with the fans that I've got on this one, which are the ones which show the RPM. Or you can get it with ones which are just standard fans, and that's a little bit cheaper again. So around about 80 quid for this case. And
fan speed on the fans.
yeah, it's got a digital readout on the side of the fan speed, which is kind of weird, and I want to see what that actually looks like. So yeah, nice looking one-piece glass, which I'm actually getting to the point where I kind of like the one-piece glass look now. I didn't, but I'm starting to enjoy it more the more I see it. Interesting thing as well, with the glass, if you look at it, like you think, well, how the hell does that come off of there? There's no clips or pins or anything. So they've got actually quite a nice solution. On the bottom, there is a single thumb screw. So you loosen that thumb screw all the way out, and the glass then just slides out. And you can take the whole piece of glass off. So I think that is actually quite a nice solution, and you can also do it while it's in the kind of upright position as well.
I don't like the case fans seem interesting.
Yeah, so you got some apparently high quality fans here, which just the feel of the motor alone, they actually feel like really strong. So these are RGB fans, so you've got RGB there, but you've also got the infinity LEDs on the side. We'll see that a little bit later. So infinity LEDs down there, and there's a little LCD panel, or liquid crystal display digits, which apparently show the fan's RPM. And these are daisy chainable fans. I'm not too sure with these fans. They look really good, but I'm not too sure if they might be like the Jungle Leopard ones, just kind of rebranded or something.
Got a bit of reflective point of flame in that fan.
Oh.
And it does look like a flame. All ginger and flickery.
So with the case, you've got the support for 3 120mm fans on the bottom. You've got the 3 on the side already. You can put a 360mm rad in the top, or 3 120mm fans. There's also lots of room, headroom, so for radiators, so you're not going to impede onto your cable management area. And also it's got the support for the latest back to the front, back to the future, or rear connect motherboards, Project Zero, etc, etc. And the fans have a kind of a daisy chain, which has got an unusual connector, but it's just one piece connector, which I actually disconnected for this one, and I couldn't get it back in. So I do need to have a look at that. but they are just using the standard 3-pin 5-volt ARGB and PWM, as you would pretty much expect these days. And actually, I will take the fan out, which might make life a little bit easier. Ugh. Actually, while I do that, let's put the overhead camera on so you can get a little bit of a look inside it. You can see what's going on. So I actually really like this type of layout for a case. And
B2F or F2B board?
it's a B2F. No, it's a oh god, it's a BTF, back to front. And look at those screws. They're like the longest screws. I've never seen case fan screws that long. These are insane.
But you know they're 6 inches.
Christ, they're like, let me get a normal one and put it as a comparison. They're like double the,
Fans?
they're double the size. I don't know. They seem like really impressive. And I think they're a little bit thicker than usual. I think they're like 28mm or 30mm. So they should have a lot of grunt to them. So yeah, FSP branded. And yeah, just... Oh god. They haven't centralized that very well. Or is it because that's on there? Oh no, they have really messed that one up. Right, I'm definitely going to have to take that off. But that is actually a metal center cap.
You had one in the background once, didn't you, that had that?
Oh yeah, it drove people mad.
We didn't even notice until somebody pointed it out, and then you could not see it.
So yeah, these are 30mm fans rather than usual 25. So they're a little bit thicker, a little bit chunkier. They actually do feel pretty impressive. And I'm not too sure how well that's coming out on the camera. You can see there is the kind of daisy chain connector, which is probably fallen down inside here now. So daisy chain connector just goes on the side. Oh, that way around. So yeah, just a single block connector to connect it all up, which is pretty good.
Oh, Babs, can't turn that light off.
And and I guess we've got to put that way around. So yeah, we've got an LCD display on there and also on there. I want to see what these are like. These are intriguing beyond belief. Although I think that is in a really awkward position because of where the cable is, because of where that is. Anyway, thank you, Rasher. Been a member for 50 months. Wow.
I can't get to the other light, sorry.
Oh, that's right. It's fine. Is that still on the screen? No, hang on. Let me click on that. I haven't clicked on that yet. Where are we? There we go. So yeah, those are, well, potentially very interesting fans. I am genuinely intrigued to see how these are actually going to look. And actually, if they need any subsequent power. Because you'd think a fan like that is going to require a fair bit of juice. But yeah, that is why this case is kind of a little bit more expensive than you would normally see. This type of case...
Why is there a mirror on the side of the fan, sorry?
It's because it's supposed to be visible from the sides. So there is like an RGB layer underneath that mirror. So it's like an infinity effect. We'll see it in a minute when I fire them up.
In a minute with those screws.
In a minute, yeah, Christ.
A minute of screw. Right, flip it.
Those screws are insane. That is the first time I've seen screws that big for a fan. Whew. They're massive.
They are the Ron Jeremy.
They are. The Ron Jeremy of screws. Okay, that is in there nice and firmly. So yeah, pretty much general fish tank layout there. Motherboard tray, Back to the Future layout, etc, etc. The fans, you've got the options as well on the side, so you can have 140s or 160mm fans in here if you want to swap out those. You can get this without any fans at all for around about £60, I think it is. So if you do want to put your own fans in, if you've got your own preferences, then you can go ahead and do that. Also the rear I/O panel, all of those are removable, usual kind of drill. If we look at the back section, so dual ventilation, so either intake or exhaust for the back section there, and also if you've got either hard drives or your power supply, which is going to be in this location, that comes off quite nicely. I must say, these cases, the FSP stuff, although it's kind of like what initially appears to be like a cheaper style design, they're actually very well made.
Massive screws.
And massive screws as well. And I think a lot of people, when they think of the brand FSP, they don't naturally associate it with a quality brand, but it is actually quality. So you get your accessory kit there, so you got your extra pillars for motherboards, you've got your screws all nicely laid out, you've got some FSP straps there, and also a BIOS beep speaker. It's pretty nice. And there's also the destruction manual.
Looks more like OLED than LCD.
It could be. Hopefully it's... So there's a LED strip control panel down there, which has got a button going to it, so you can manually go through the wire for the colours, etc. And what we got here? Where does that go? That is going up to something. I don't know where that goes, or what that's going to. Must be another RGB. There must be another RGB somewhere. Anyway. So USB Type-C connector. You've also got USB 3.0, front panel block connector. All the usual stuff there. So that's absolutely fine. Loads of room as well on the back. Obviously, because it is a back to the future or back to front design, then you can go ahead and do that. It does remind me a lot of the Deepcool CG530. And to be honest with you, it might be the same case, just with the different fans and a slightly different layout. But if you think 30mm fans normally, like if you get the Fantex 30mm fans, they are like, I think they're about 20 quid each. So the fact you get 4 of them, that's like 80 quid worth of fans for basically the price of the case. You've got a controller on the bottom there, so on that you have got 8 outputs. So 8 PWMs and 8 RGBs. That's fantastic. That is exactly what you want to see. You don't want to have less than that. And does it require power? Yes, it does require some SATA power. So I think what I'm going to do is grab a power supply, and we'll put in, actually why not, let's put in the, we'll put in the FSP one, because it's basically here. So we'll put in the FSP power supply, we'll get some SATA plugs on there, and we'll fire it up and see what it looks like. I'm interested to see what these fan RPMs look like. That is going to be a new one on me. I don't think I've seen fans with a built-in screen on them before. Not in that way. I know Lian Li do the ones where they've got the screen in the middle, I think. Have they got the screen in the middle? Am I right in thinking that? I think that's right. Right, and if I put my power supply jumper on there, that means I don't have to have a PC connected. Mike, can you see the type of fans? I can't, no, it doesn't. It just says FSP on them. It doesn't have a model number or anything. Firephone, Mike, I saw your DeWalt videos. Were you in the Hitman movies in the past? No. Oh dear. Yeah, I know where you're coming from with that. Right, let's put this power supply in. Yeah, no, it just says FSP. It doesn't, I don't think it had a part number. It says DC 12 volt. And that's it. Yeah, it doesn't have any part numbers on them at all. I would say, judging by what I said a little bit earlier, if you do a search for Jungle Leopard, you may find some that are similar. possibly. And YouTube is about to crash. Can you hear the fans ramping up on the PC? That is a telltale sign that it is about to crash. And I'll get an out of memory warning. And there we go. Oh snap. And the fans have ramped back down again. Don't you just love Google? Where's my mouse? There we go. Refresh. And highlight that window and do F5. Not enough memory to open this page. Oh, that's beautiful.
Steve, busy, aren't we?
Let's try that again then. There we go. Agent 47. FSP is making cases also for other brands. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Whether or not other brands are making cases for FSP, that is possible. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if FSP are actually an OEM for the cases themselves. I don't know. I should ask them really. Next time I email them, I will ask them, say, did you make this case or was it made for you? They probably won't answer. Most companies, if you ask them questions like that, they don't really want to say. Because it used to be that pretty much all cases were made by Johnsbow, and then people just rebranded them. I haven't got another hand-free calf at the moment.
Okay.
Hello, Dave. Yeah, I can see, still hear you, and see you.
Had you just now, didn't I? And there's a bowl of food. I can't feed you every time.
Yeah.
I want to. You're spoiled, aren't you? Yeah.
David says the FSP Zen Fan BW. Is that what they are? Thank you. Okay, right, there is the power supply in. So we need a SATA.
Talking of the power supplies on Black Friday deal at
Yes, the power supply is on a Black Friday deal currently at Scan UK. So if you are considering purchasing a power supply and you want to have a look and you're in the UK, then Scan would be a pretty good place to go and take a look at that in a moment.
£119.99.
£119.99. The 850 is, how much do we say the 850 was, Kath? I think there's a pretty good price now.
Go back to where I had it.
Kath's gonna have a look now. But yeah, I think the 850 was, I think the 850 would be the one that I would probably go with, to be completely honest.
850, 117.
I know, that's Amazon.
Yeah, I didn't have it on the other one.
Oh, didn't they?
I don't think so.
Okay. Right, prepare to lose the display.
Not very good at
Woo! It's a server rack.
I'm not very good at looking on Scan. What's that noise, Dave? It's from his air dryer.
Right, there's the LED button, so you can cycle through the RGBs.
Danmar's off.
Cheers, Danmar. Holy crap. Right, clearly this needs some form of speed controller. So I will attempt to do that a moment. If I can find it. There we are, Noctua. Noctua! Hoctua! Yeah. With fans that spin, well, these are currently spinning. I can actually tell you how fast they're spinning. They are currently spinning at 2,559 RPM.
Where does it say that?
So 2,700, 2,600, 2,645, 2.5. There's always very slight differences. When you daisy chain fans, the power distribution isn't always entirely even going through.
What's it like? You've got there, do a Timothy average.
I said. Oh, I just bent that connector. No. Alright, let's plug this in quick. Oh. Hey? Let's have some silence, shall we? Wow. They're really quiet.
Do you love Granny?
547 RPM roughly. As you can see from the side possibly. 530, 625, no, sorry. Yeah, 520, there's little fluctuations in it, but yeah, around like 550 RPM.
You've got a spare hand yet?
Yes. Yes, that is clear. That's really quiet. Dave, right, for God's sakes, get out of my house, you little shit.
Yeah, it's mean, isn't it, Dave?
Go to hell.
Oh, you two keep arguing.
Right. Oh my God, the sound of silence. So, yeah, these fans have got an incredible RPM range between what appears to be insanity. They react so quickly. Those motors are so strong. It's like a radio controlled car. It's almost like they got a brake on them. Wow, they are really quiet. Like insanely quiet. Holy shit. Okay, these are officially now the quietest fans I've ever used. By a country mile. Let's see what they're like a little bit faster. So that is basically... So they have a 0 RPM mode as well. Which, that's very rare. Like, I think the Arctic P12s and... I don't think the F series have it, but the P's do. Let's crank it up a little bit. Let's see, so that's about 900 RPM, no, 800 RPM.
Those fans are damn cool. Sorry, I was away eating the world's worst pizza. What's the brand make?
Oh dear. This is FSP. And yeah, I think these are brilliant. So okay, let's take it from the top. So that's 2500 RPM. It's about 24, 22-ish. 2000.
Is that RGB around the edge of the fan?
Yeah.
Around the edge of the base for...
Oh yeah, there is, yeah, RGB around there, which must go through the glass. That's what that strip's for. There's RGB that goes around the glass. That's different. What's that? 1800 roughly.
Zoom in on the fan LCD display or OLED, whatever.
Yes. It is it's a liquid digit display.
Oh, it's Slim's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Slim. I'm going to set this down to the lowest possible speed to be silent. There, that is effectively silent at roughly about 800 RPM. And apparently these are very high torque fans. I dread to think what would happen if I put my finger in there. Put them in server mode.
Can I do a close up of it?
I've done.
Fingering.
No, I'm not.
Bit of interest. Oh, Otis.
Yeah, those are really good. So, got them down to like, well, the bottom one's at like 200 RPM. So they've got an absolutely massive RPM range. And they look pretty dope. Oh, I said dope. What a wanker. Those are pretty cool.
Save us now, Roots.
Save us now from Mike and his YouTube talk.
Next you'll be saying sick.
Sick.
Like a 3-year-old.
These fans are sick. No, they're not, Dave. I'm joking.
Get a cheese string and stick it in that fan.
A cheese string?
See if it slices cheese.
I ain't got the sort of money to have cheese slices. What are you on about?
Cheese is now in security boxes. Can't be grating that on cases nowadays. I have to find out who's still in the stream that was in the stream he grated the cheese on.
So the RGB effect goes all the way through. So that's RGB Gen 2, addressable RGB,
Otis, you stood on my screen.
rather than being the traditional one. So that is nice that it sees them all as a single group.
Try a carrot.
I'm not sticking anything in them.
Oh, now I want you to try something else.
No.
Oh, Slim's 10.
Oh. So this is all from the built-in controller, which you just press the button on the top to cycle through the lighting styles. So you've got your statics, plain white, RGB puke, and then the lunatic stuff. It looks like that outside LED as well also reacts to that as well, in some way, shape or form. So kind of like the colour goes down, then goes into that fan and then that back up. So it's kind of like creating a circle. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely got some bling about it. And if you press and hold, should turn them off. Yeah. So you just have the LCD display on the side. And press it again to turn them on. If you have the connector on the controller connected to your motherboard, it will automatically just go through and do whatever your motherboard tells it to do.
On, Mike. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, boy.
Sick.
Sick. FSP logo, very discreet on that bottom section there.
Curious what it looked like.
I'm curious.
You're laughing in your sleep every time.
Sorry, it's Adrian's Digital Basement. That's one of his things that he says quite a lot. I'm curious. He's always curious about something. Cracks me up, he's great.
That rare fans hub has a lot of wobble to it. Would annoy
It's
me.
the sticker, it sucks. Right, there we go. There's the front on. You do have to lift it up a little bit to do that screw up, or at least I do, because of my stumpy fingers. So the RGB should be going through the glass. I don't know if it actually is.
Is window acrylic or glass?
It's glass. So yeah, the RGB is going through there, but I don't think it's actually doing a great deal for the glass. I think that is a little bit pointless. Yeah, I guess it's fine that it's there. Well, I think this is actually a nice looking case. Let's turn the light back on a second.
What do you think doesn't matter?
But what I think doesn't matter, what you think does. And that power supply is super quiet. I can't hear it. Well, I can, yeah, if I get here, I can just about hear it. If I move to about here.
It actually hides the RGB.
What, the glass? Yeah, it does seem to, doesn't it? That's a bit weird.
It's a bit more better when you had it facing us listening to those fans. You can see it there. So, I think it's got to be face on.
Yeah, it's
See
weird,
it?
isn't it?
Turn it round to face the camera. No, the other way altogether.
Oh, what, so that is facing that?
Yeah, that's facing the camera. So you can see it there. That takes ages and I have to look behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just like see it. That's a little bit pointless, isn't it? I'd be tempted to unplug that and
Save money.
pretend it's not there. Let's do that now. There we go. I've unplugged it. Did anyone notice? Probably not. And that frees up a port. That's a shame, really. I'm sure that should have done something like to the glass. Maybe it does on a certain angle.
A bit too wide.
Oh, well, the case?
Yeah, it's true.
It is, yeah, it is a bit chode-like in that respect. But in terms of cable management and how much space it takes up on your desk, in terms of height and width, it's a pretty decent for that. Yeah, I quite like it. I was unsure if I was going to like this or not. But yeah, I think it's a pretty decent case. I'm quite surprised. I was expecting, well, I wouldn't say I was expecting, I didn't really know what to expect. But when you get a brand like FSP, which are kind of predominantly known for power supplies, I think that is pretty much what they've done over the last 30 years plus, maybe more.
Leave the RGB.
Yeah.
Can you buy more fans for this case?
Yeah, apparently the fans are called, David posted it earlier, they were called the something BM or BW.
Remember
Can you remember, David, what they were called?
the fans?
I did, let me see if I can scroll up and see it.
That case is being sold by a third-party seller on Amazon Canada. Will not touch it. Never mind the $500 plus price.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I looked at Amazon US 480. And that's not the plus, is it? I don't think. Or was it?
Where did he say it? I'm sure he posted it in there.
That case is available for €79 on Amazon Germany.
Viali says, no, leave it, more RGB.
Touch chance put a link in.
Okay. Yeah, nice quiet fans that move what seems to be a lot of air. Yeah. I'm... Otis. He's trying to get into the box already. There's a pizza box there. Sleep on a pizza box.
Flames off his box if you want his box.
Yeah, I think yeah. I'm
He's curious.
not gonna say I'm impressed. Like, it's 79 or 80 pounds plus. I think it could probably do with being slightly cheaper, but if you think of how much the fans probably cost to make or buy even, and the fact it's got curved glass, which is expensive to manufacture, it seems to be in a pretty solid, rigid case, which sometimes you get cases like this, the fish tank style ones, which are like a bit flimsy, but this actually feels like proper steel. It's probably not, it's probably, well, it might be steel, I don't know, but yeah, it just feels quite solid. And the fact that you've got a nice bit of room to put your motherboard in, yeah, the fans would be one of the things which I would be a little concerned about, because trying to match them up, especially if you get like an AIO, like we had with that Geometric Futures case review on Friday, trying to match up the pre-installed fans with something on another piece of hardware is often difficult. But Christ, imagine these fans on an AIO with that RPM and that much power on a 30mm. If you could get the screws to hold them into AIO, they would be insane. I am going to take off that sticker off the back fan though, because that wobbling around is driving me slightly bananas. But the power supply is lovely and quiet. And surprisingly, it's pushing out quite a lot of air. I suppose if you use decent components, then that is what happens. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyone got any questions about this case? Oh, thank you, David. Zen Fan B/W.
What's the link that Dutch Jam put in?
Dutch Jan's put the link for FSP. Excuse me.
Is that a back product?
Do I want to leave YouTube? Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm getting a 404 not found on there.
Maybe it's not. Maybe you haven't got a...
Firephone says PSU also FSP. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the Vita GM 1000W, fully modular, gold rated, cybernetics A and cybernetics -A for noise levels, which is yeah, pretty hard to disagree with. I'm just thinking actually you could make an absolutely killer PC in this and it would be basically silent. That would be cool. That is one of the goals, isn't it? A PC which looks the bomb but it is absolutely silent. Yeah. I think, like I said, this case is going to be available in black, white, and with these fans, or there's another version which comes with a cheaper version of the fans, which don't have the LCD display on them. So potentially some options there. But if you just look for the FSP M580 Plus, well no, the Plus is this version with these fans.
Sorry.
If you look for the normal 580 or M580, that is the one without fans at all. And then there's a M580 ARGB, which just comes with normal ARGB fans. I kind of wish they'd sent that one as well, just so I could see what the difference is between the fans. If the other ones have got fans which are even half as good as these, it would be mighty impressive.
Yes, you also FSP.
Yeah, answer that. Just okay.
Sorry.
Skystalker says the $325 for the FSP 580M and kind of, yeah, that's too expensive. And it's weirdly it's only 119 Aussie dollars, so that is basically £60. It's funny, isn't it, how prices can be so different around the world. Very strange. Anyway, that is pretty cool. I like that. So much so that I'm going to unplug it. And the power supply kept on going for a little bit. It's quite reassuring. Let's put that down there. So yeah, as always, we'll be doing like a full kind of tear down thing in there. I probably will end up doing a build on it of some sort. I'm not too sure. If we can get some RAM, you never know. We might be able to put something in there.
Well, let's borrow it out if you're editing PC just for the build.
Yeah, I'll take some RAM out of one of the other computers whilst I'm editing.
No, while you're building.
While I'm doing that, yeah. Dave Venerdale says power supply is manufactured by FSP, or I think FSP is the Fortron Source Group, if I'm correct. So also sold by Antec, Sparkle Power International, SPI, OCZ, Silverstone Technology, Thermaltake, Nexus, and Zalman under their own names. So yeah, and FSP, like I said, do power supplies for a lot of laptops and stuff. And in fact, I've got a sneaking suspicion my HP laptop is an FSP. No, that has just got the Hewlett-Packard branding on it. That's only a 45 watt-er, so it probably isn't the best one to choose. But yeah, have a look around. I remember actually when I first started working for M2 Computers in Bristol back in the very early 2000s, when we had a really nice case to sell, or we were doing a nice PC, there was always an FSP power supply in there. That was until the invention of I'm trying to think, what was the power supplies that came out? There was a brand and they had the something Type R, and it was one of the first modular PC power supplies, and it came like in a plastic case with almost like a lunchbox with all the individual cables and bits and pieces inside it. And they did them in like bizarre colors. There was like a metallic blue, a black, and a chrome, I think. I can't remember which ones it was.
That case is identical to the Deepcool CG530.
Yeah, the actual layout of the case does look a lot like the CG530. Which is not a bad thing. Although I'm not sure if the 530 did the back connect motherboards. It's been a while since I've seen that one. And the CG530 didn't have the wraparound glass either. So if anything, it's a variant of it. Because the CG530 was flat glass, which butted up together.
Might you like HP quality?
Not really. No. Where are we? Who said what? Oh yeah, Dutch Jan. The difference between the FSP M580 and the M580 Plus are the fans. The ones in the non-Plus don't have the RPM display. Cool. Rasher says, my Lian Li Dynamic Evo XL with 11 Lian Li fans is not totally silent. It makes a kind of rhythmic hum, but barely audible. I like my PC to make some noise. Yeah, actually, I kind of know where you're coming with that. The thermal tape behind me, it's not silent. I can hear there's noise of air going through it. Like a very, very quiet air conditioning unit, I guess. Not that I've got an air conditioning unit, but I'll imagine that's what it sounds like. I can just about... I know there's some noise in it, but I can't work out where it's coming from. So that's a good sign, because it's not that distracting.
YLBWB?
Hey man, I just got done watching your Stop Windows Crashing Blue Screen of Death video, and I've left a comment. I really need help determining what my PC's problem is. It was on your channel from 9 months ago. Well, it's difficult to do in a stream, but if you want to, I will put a link in the chat now for our Discord, which you're more than welcome to go in, join, and leave some information in one of the tech support rooms, and either myself or someone else will try and help you out as best they possibly can.
There's probably someone in there now.
Yeah, there probably is people in there now, so if you want to post it in there now, probably is a good sign to do it. If not, I will try and get back to you tomorrow. Fractal are the most silent cases. Unless you've got the Fractal Torrent, in which case you don't have the quietest case. And in fact, actually, I would disagree, and I would say Be Quiet are the quietest cases, because that is their thing, really. Although some Fractals are quite good. I had the Define C. That was reasonably quiet. Right, we are coming up to the 11 o'clock mark, so I think that is pretty much it.
Watching. Where's Ugly Bob?
Yeah, unless there's any other last minute questions or requests. Whilst I'm waiting to see if that is coming in. Thank you all for watching, and let us know in the comments. And don't forget, even on the live streams after you've watched it, if you want to come back in and leave a comment on the video, please feel free to do so. And I will do my best to answer your questions. It's good for the algorithm as well. Hopefully other people will find it. That's a good point. Yeah, the case makes no sound, the fans do. Yeah, that is very true. YL says, here's a basic explanation if you mind, sorry. My PC's been power cycling. I've gone and downloaded the hardware monitor app, and my 12 volt is reading 9. There you go. Power supply. Yeah, if your 12 volt rail is reading 9.919, that's way too low. I'm surprised it even turns on. If you're using any form of extensions on your power supply, like
and my 5 volt and 3 volt is same.
Yeah, if your 5 volt and 3 volt, what, your 5 volt is saying 5 volt and your 3 volt is saying 3 volt, or your 5 and your 3 volts are both saying 9 volts. because that's worrying as well. But it does sound like a power supply issue. If you're using cable extensions, try removing those and use the original ones. And also make sure that all of your connectors are firmly pushed into the motherboard. If there's any gap.
The value is 9 and the min is 9 and the max is 9.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. I would suggest, yeah, go onto the Discord and we'll give you permission so you can post pictures. Probably want to see things like your power plugs, make sure they're all firmly plugged in. Again, I'll put the link in the chat there so you can use that should you wish to. Yeah, if it's all original connectors, it sounds like a bad power supply. You shouldn't have 9 volts on the 12 volt rail. That really shouldn't even boot. But I guess it does. But if it's power cycling, then yeah, that makes the thing. Oh, Bob there says, has everyone given the stream a like? I haven't.
I have. I'm on your account.
Okay. Right, I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you all for your kindness and your donations and just basically sticking around with us. It's we are very privileged. It's great. We love it, and it's nice to see every day some of you commenting on the videos. I know obviously you're not all going to comment on all videos, so that's totally fine, but when we do see a familiar face, it's always nice. And when we see new faces as well, we do try and answer every single question. We don't always answer replies, but every original question we do try and answer with something within normally about 24 hours, if not less. So we do make an effort. Oh, and Kath's going to give away some memberships, yeah. I believe. Go for it, Kath.
You knew, didn't you?
So,
we have 10, so...
We've got 10, go on, do the lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're giving away some gift memberships. So if you've stuck around, actually it doesn't matter because I think you get an email anyway. So there are 10, what's it called? So Safi's got one, Avengi, Firestorm, the Muffin Man, Inspector X, Old Bob 59, oh no, he's a member already. Source K, Budge, Hydro 2K, T Evans NC, and Island the Boy. There you go. Have some gift memberships so you can now get early access to some of the videos. Now, before anyone says anything, all the videos that go out, the members only ones are just members only until they become a full release. None of the content is hidden behind a paywall. You just get it a little bit faster. That is all. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Yeah, oh Bob, become a member Wednesday. Thank you very much. Rampy says, I think I've received the gifted twice, gifted 2 before. Dave Aiken, Mike, easy question to end on. What is your favourite case of all time? No, not sure. No problem, T Evans. My favourite case of all time. That's a difficult one. I would think it's going to be... There's a generational change, definitely. So I think back in the day, it would have been the Antec 900. That was just a great case for lots of reasons. Good price, good quality, robust, modular, good cooling, looked fantastic. For modern cases, it's going to be a struggle. I'm going to probably say, even though I haven't got it yet, I think something like the new Corsair 4000 frame might be there. I think that's a really good case, good price, ticks a lot of boxes. The series, I'm going to sneeze. Bless me. I think for me personally, I think the Series 500, maybe the Series 300, I think they've got to probably be in there, even though they had that quirky front panel design. But they're both really good cases, very flexible, worked for me. Yeah, I don't know, I struggle. There's been so many which I've enjoyed using and like using for different reasons with different prices. So yeah, I would struggle to say the best one of all time, although it's probably going to be the Antec 900, because you can still use that today and it still is a great case. So it stood the test of time and it still has got excellent cooling. So yeah, probably the sorry O'Reilly, did I wake you? I think the Antec 900 is probably going to take it. At least for now. I'll have to think about it a bit more. Right, on that bombshell, thank you all for watching. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and again, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back soon. Ciao for now. Bye. Say bye, Kath.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.